2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
What's the deal, Panther fans? It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. My name's Tony Dunn. I'm here with my co-host, Cody Lashney, my wheelman. What's up, my friend?
Tony Dunn, I'm doing good, man. Panther football is oozing closer to us. We have a preseason game with the Bills coming up. But listen, man, we always have a ton to get into. Matt Corral has been placed on IR. We finally got the starting quarterback that we all knew who it was going to be. And we even know the starting formation of the offensive line, which we also knew what it was going to be. But listen, you already know that there's nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than hear what my boys rapping, talking about some Panther football. And you already know we have the best Panther fans in all of YouTube. You already know them and love them. It's our guy, Drew, Algernon Ramser, ATX19, Boogeyman, Craig Cartner, Dan Floyd, Jay Prey, JD86, Joe Riolano in the building. What's up, Joey? Joey the Blind Panther Esquivel, John Kidco Barrera, Lynn Leonhardt, we see you. Panther Pickle, and Panthers Buzz FSU 23. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
Tonight's show, Baker Mayfield is officially QB number 1. We'll be talking about the announcement that was the most unbreaking news in the history of news, as well as kind of some other things when it comes to worries and concerns about Terrace Marshall Jr., Christian McCaffrey addressing the media, having a players-only meeting. I saw that already. Somebody said, "Good Lord, we're already at that point." We just met on Friday and hung out and watched the second preseason game. It was not the best watch, like you mentioned, Matt Corral. There were some question marks on the offensive line, but we didn't see a lot of the starters. And Shaq Thompson was activated from the PUP list, so we got cool news coming out. We got to talk about Sam Darnold, all of these press conferences, and we're going to do it with you guys. The number's 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. And now we got the new feature where you can show your appreciation, your loyalty by hitting the join button and becoming a C3 super fan. And there's other ways to donate. You can check PayPal, Cash App, or go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Even buy a cool T-shirt like the one I'm wearing, put it in the bank. We got to bring that Lombardi here one day. But the super fan, that's our new thing. It's a small small way to show. And look, you see the people in the chat room who got the green tag. They got special emojis. We're going to continue to build that out. We're going to build it out with the voice that makes some voice in the house. CK, how you doing?
Oh, living the dream. And we are just a few short weeks away from real, substantial, substantive. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
substantive football. Panthers football is right around the corner, and my wife is the best. She's bringing me literally McDonald's right now to eat on stream. So that's cool. Thanks, babe.
Oh, that was not a paid advertisement. Actually, it was paid. CK paid for it. Yeah. He paid for it. He actually paid.
That was a complete surprise. Like, I wasn't expecting this.
Vice versa. They need to pay us, but we're paying them.
Right.
Greg, the Bat Daddy, the Stat Daddy. I'm gonna have to call you the editorial daddy, the video daddy. Man, you've been working hard in the lab. And I watched She-Hulk. I think I liked it more than other people did. I was into it, and that's all I have to say.
She-Hulk was an amazing show. The acting, the story, it was great. The CGI is terrible. I stand by that 100%.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, but beyond that, I loved everything else about the show. Man, CK, you nailed it right on the head, buddy. It is so close, and I feel so good. Like, I was looking at a jersey the day, and I think I decided I'm going to get a Chin jersey. Like, I was set on it. I found where I'm going to buy it. I just hadn't pulled the trigger quite yet. I was ready, and then all of a sudden, I'm having doubts. Not in Chin, but maybe I want a different jersey, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, we're going to be talking about how you want that Baker Mayfield.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Baker
I don't
bottom,
know if I want to buy a Baker Mayfield jersey
bottom.
now, you know?
What's it going to take to get Cody Lashley to be a Baker bottom? We'll see.
On top, baby.
Five
Never
wins.
on the
Four
bottom.
and one.
Is that he's going to be? I said 10. He said, do you remember when we first asked this question? My man came out and said 45 touchdowns. I spit my drink out.
Like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning numbers.
Oh, gosh. Speaking of, Tom Brady has been missing in action and then coming back, and now there's continued speculation. He came out and said he's not the Masked Singer, which totally means he's the Masked Singer. I don't know. Tom Brady, it's getting bizarre down in Tampa Bay.
Can you imagine if you're Tom Brady, though, and you really aren't the Masked Singer, how crazy your life must be to be like, nobody believes me, and I can't believe people
I know. And what about the people that are on the Masked Singer and they just guessing the whole time? Tom Brady. They're like, nope. Right. Tom Brady. Nope. So you get that. And the other thing, too, we got to talk about this later, is did the Carolina Panthers draft the rookie quarterback with the biggest feet, but the worst one of the bunch? As look, is like, hey, we
better be prepared for me tonight.
Well, look, don't forget you love Malik Willis, and Malik Willis has been showing off why people liked him. Desmond Ridder out there doing things. I tell you this, I was watching the highlights to the Atlanta Falcons game. They might not be as bad as we thought. And I don't know, is that Mariota was like slinging. He looked good. I don't know. I hope he's not finding a renaissance right now. But
Sam Darnold did last year too. This time,
not in the. I don't. Yeah, good point. So. And it's just preseason. We got to see it. We got to see it to believe it. Look, the number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. You can find the podcast on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. Like I said, a new feature right now, and I don't want to over pump it, but we do want to encourage you guys. Is like, this is a small way. The way I think about it is look, I know that everybody is strapped with cash and things. As I went and bought, I had to go like, told my daughter, she was like, I need a new lunchbox. I was like, can we please wait till payday? She's like, I was like, all right, we'll go get it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, is that not that it was that much? It's just you spend money. Everybody's spending money like crazy. So I know sometimes it's hard to give large chunks of money out, right? Or donations of $50, $100. That's tough on people. But what we can do is band together and do a small, like $2, $1.99 a month, and we only get 70% of it. So it's not like we even get the whole thing. But look, is that instead of one person giving 100, let's get 50 people to give 2. You know, and
by the way, all the custom emojis that we have, we're going to be adding a lot more. Right now, there's only 4, but we're even down to take suggestions. I mean, listen, this is the podcast for Panther fans by Panther fans. If there's a certain emoji or something that you would like that helps you represent your fandom or show off your C3 fandom or what have you, man, you can always let us know, and we will make that happen, man. For the fans, by the fans, that's what we do. And speaking of that, our newest member just don't care.
Just don't care. Well, we care. We care about you. You might not care, but we care.
How about this? He cares enough to become a member, so we care about him. Shout out to you, man.
And here's a cool feature, like you were saying, the more members there are, the more emojis they allow you to get, right? So, like, we were limited to 5 emojis, to custom emojis with 2 members. Like your first 2 members, you get that. But the more members we add, the more the program can expand. And I know it's a small thing. It might not. It's like, and I just want to remind everybody too, if you don't join, don't worry. You're not going to be excluded from anything. Where, you know, it's like, this is not like hey, it's like we're happy to have you. Like C-Dog said, the like button is free.
It's free as heck, but because somebody hit that join button just now, I have to do one thing, and I have to shout out the one, the only, just don't care. You have just become one of the elite C3 super fans. You've hit that join button for $1.99. You have joined this club of fans that are just helping build this show up, this podcast up, this group of people just talking about the Carolina Panthers. And for that, we salute you. Welcome to the super fans.
Keep pounding. All right, bring us into the show, Cody.
Yeah, look, there's nothing to it but to do it. So let's just roll. Baker Mayfield has officially been named the starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. Now, literally, this is a surprise to absolutely no one in the world.
No one.
Everybody
no
knew.
One. The least
Everybody knew
ever.
that Baker Mayfield was going to be the starting quarterback. But my question to you boys is, what was it that took Matt Rule so long? Is it just because Baker didn't have the pedigree, it didn't have the continuous winning seasons, that he wasn't just gifted this job? Was he being nice to Sam Darnold, the guy that they traded for last year? What do we make of this?
I think that one possibility is that Matt Rule really thinks that we don't see through him or see through what he's saying. It kind of thinks maybe we're stupid. Not saying he's saying we're all dumb, but maybe he just truly believes that what he's been saying is like, well, people believe that we're having a competition and that I don't know who's going to be the starter. And then I can all of a sudden, Tony raised the best point the other day about it on the broadcast you did. It's like, what have you done?
Like, right? What changed?
Like, what
since Friday?
Yeah.
Because nothing changed. It was already made up. And it was all, look, I put up a story on CarolinaCatChronicles.com where I occasionally write a little bit just for fun. And it was the farcical, and I forget the title. It was like this farcical quarterback competition. It was all a dog and pony show at this. And what I think the reason being is this, is I think Matt Rule and the organization did not want to overshow their desperation. Like, I think they're trying to show that, like, it's like, oh, we're program oriented, we're building oriented, we're process oriented. We do all these things the right way, when they just knee jerk on everything. They kick Teddy to the side. Then they go chase after Matt Stafford. They don't get Matt Stafford. Then they go chase after. Then they go and get Sam Darnold. It doesn't work. They go get Cam Newton. They try to get Deshaun Watson. That doesn't work. They go get Baker Mayfield. It's like this. Wow. Is that we all knew Baker. Here's the thing, is I don't care what kind of competition it was, is that if Sam Darnold walked out there and started this year from the day one, they would have to win every game for Matt Rule to keep it. Like, how can Matt Rule back that horse?
All right. I have a contrary opinion, because you guys are coming from a thought that Matt Rule was competent in this entire process, right? And what I mean by that is that he knew who he was going with. I said when we traded for Baker, I said I was afraid when Matt Rule said there was a competition that he honestly meant it.
Okay.
And I think that that's what this was. I think that Baker Mayfield earned the job in the eyes of Matt Rule and potentially like just the eyes of the general public.
Everybody. How about all of us?
Right. And even if Matt Rule wasn't ready to make that decision, it's going to be if you came out and named Sam Darnold the starter, you would have had a literal riot from Carolina Panthers fans, right? Like you would have had a riot from people. People knew what was coming, but even if there was a real competition, that's what my biggest fear was. And we had kind of dated. I talked about the fact that it would hinder Matt Corral. It would make it to where Baker Mayfield couldn't get the valuable reps with the ones that he needs when he's splitting reps between ones and twos, instead of being able to build that chemistry with a true offensive line, a true wide receiving core, and his running back, right? When you don't have that, I think that can be pretty impactful. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that it was a real competition. Matt Rule was just forced to make that decision based on not only what he sees on the field, but just the fact that public opinion is important when it comes to football and fandom.
And it's important to them. They listen. They listen far more than they like to admit, and far more than maybe like Ron Rivera did or anything like that. Is they every time it's like, oh, and I've highlighted how they react to fan reactions a lot. I don't know. Was it a real competition? How about this? Is you know who turned out to think it was a real competition? Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold. Now, look, I do want to handle this. I think that I want to give Matt Rule some credit for this. Is that when he was asked in the interview, like after practice on Monday, why they named him and stuff like that, and they talked about them. I thought he was caring about the people involved. I think that he was pretty genuine and authentic. It's like, it sounded like he handled it pretty well. He wasn't like throwing Sam Darnold under the bus. He was saying good things about everybody involved. I thought it's probably one of the better things he's handled, honestly, in how except for this weird moment where he's like, he started the press, like, it's like, wow, what about this grass? This is like how he walks up to do this interview and he's like, whoa, this grass is really nice. I was like, dude, don't you practice on it? Like,
haven't you been there for like hours at this point?
I know. And then he's like, wish my grass looked like this. And then he's like, by the way, Sam Darnold, you suck. No, he didn't. But it was just like, he was so happy. And then it was like, then he started talking about something serious. But I thought he handled it fine. Baker Mayfield, he said, well, how did they receive the news? Utmost professionals. He was so congratulatory of the people. And I tell you this, is any of the people that talk shit about Baker right now, it's to me, it's like it's like the Cam Newton thing. Mm-hmm. Remember how people just talk shit about Cam Newton and it's like the data doesn't match like the shit talk? It's like right now, Baker has done nothing but say everything right since he's been here. Right. Every single thing. Like you can't, like he's been so like team first, like everything, humble but confident, like all the right things. And then, so they went to that. And then Sam Darnold. They give Sam Darnold the mic. And I got a big problem with this, guys. I don't know why. Why did they make Sam Darnold have a press conference? And not because I thought he did. I thought he was admirable. At one point, I thought he was going to cry at one point. And you know what? I wouldn't even been upset. Like he was sniffling. Why were both of them sniffling the whole time? I don't know. Maybe they're sick. But like, I mean, he handled it right. Like he didn't do anything wrong. He was the utmost professional. But why did the Panthers make him do this?
I mean, it's almost like whenever sports teams that lose the Super Bowl and they interview the losing team. Like, why?
But the Panthers media gets to control who goes and has these press conferences. There's nothing obligatory about it. Like, if so, like, why we're not hearing from Shaq? You know what I mean? Like, there's all these, they can promote guys to have these moments or protect them from having these moments. The Panthers, I feel like, took advantage of this media moment. That's what I think it is them using this because like we're irrelevant, and so this is what has made the Panthers relevant for the last 2 months is this competition. And I feel sorry. I felt like, and I don't know why he did it. I would have said, nah, I'm good. I'm ready to be the backup. I don't want the mic. I mean, I'm just ready. Give me my helmet.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you think they gave him a choice? Because it's almost like well, maybe it's more embarrassing if you just don't let him, at least if he wants to do it.
Well, I think he could have just had one of those normal off after practices. They're going to ask him about it after practice next week or today. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's not like 7 minutes of questions.
I'll tell you, though, he may have been at moments felt like he was going to cry or looking like he was going to cry. And I can understand that. But I guarantee in the back of his mind, he was just like, every time he was about to cry, he was like 19 million. 19 million.
I know.
Million,
like I try not to feel too bad.
Not going to get injured. 19 million. Not going to get injured. 19 million.
He has one of the coziest jobs in Charlotte.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, getting paid that much money to sit on the sidelines and watch. It's like, look, man, at a certain point, I know it seems like we're just picking on this guy and Matt Rule and guys that we're not necessarily, big fans of. But I don't know. When you're a Panther fan and you've come off of Cam Newton and Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Darnold had never proven anything and would give up a second. I don't even remember all the haul. A second round pick, a fourth round pick. We gave up a lot for Sam Darnold. Okay, too much for Sam Darnold. So I understand how it might seem a little bit mean, but people have been saying this, and I think we should echo it. Sam Darnold has been here 2 years now. Baker Mayfield has been here 2 months?
Not even, basically, it's 2 months.
By all reports, there was never a competition. There was never a competition between these two guys. It was Baker Mayfield running away between the two of them. So I really don't feel too bad for Sam. And especially, listen, how about this? I know people get mad when I shit on Baker, but Baker's an injury-prone quarterback too. He's been injured a lot. So there's no guarantee that Sam Darnold isn't going to see the field.
I think last year was his only real year. I think that's overblown. Before we go into that, we got to give some shout outs. CK, can you give our newest member, Supreme Leader, his dues?
One man decided to join another. Member has decided to join the C3 Panthers Super Fan Club, I should say. And that is the one, the only, Supreme Leader. Welcome to the Super Fan Club.
Welcome. And then shout out to our guy,
Macintosh
for the $5. And all he says is, I saw some.
Or Matt Ken.
Is that from the movie Blank Check? You remember that movie?
Oh, well, no. Ken to she.
Yeah.
When he renamed it.
He named it. That was Macintosh. That was his last name, right? See, he was looking at the computer. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just pulling some old stuff out.
Okay, right on. $5 super chat, man. We appreciate it, and you know how you like the real Zero Chill says. You can just like and subscribe. We've been growing incredibly. 202 people watching the stream right now. We appreciate it. I don't think it was a competition. Actually, the one thing. All right, so I would say I felt bad for Sam Darnold, maybe a little bit, but right, like you said, $19 million. You can only feel so bad. What I thought, two things that stuck out to me about it, or three. First, I want to give him credit. Is like he went up there and manned up and took the questions and said he's going to get behind Baker and have him, and he didn't just lay down. He didn't go hide. So maybe he was, I don't think he really asked to do this. I can't believe that, but maybe he did. The other two things, though, that stuck out to me, I won't say are negative, but maybe a little bit. One, I think he really thought it was a competition. Like he was ultimately disappointed. And I hope he would be disappointed. You know what I mean? If you're really trying for something, it would be weird if you weren't disappointed. But it was almost like none of us thought that he really had a chance, but he did.
Well, I mean, you got to keep in mind, too, I'm pretty sure, like we talked about And you'd put a tweet up about how he was really he really respected the fact that Matt Rule was just honest with him about the reasons why or whatever. Like, the reality of it is like, I think they have just been leading him on this entire time because
they weren't honest.
You have David Tepper before they got Baker Mayfield telling everybody, we have a really good quarterback in Sam Darnold. Laughable, right?
Yeah.
We have Matt Rule talking about Sam Darnold looked good during OTAs. Like, just a bunch of and again, this is off-season
what
fodder.
Are they supposed to say? Right?
But I mean, it's okay for them to not build the dude up.
I know.
Right? I mean, like, the dude was being built up so much this offseason, and I know that's about confidence, but the dude, if you're talking about confidence, he came into the draft a number 3 pick in the overall number, like in the draft, right? That should be a confidence booster. You're like, you were sought after, so you don't need to be built up anymore, right? And he still failed. And again, I don't care about circumstances. The best quarterbacks find a way to overcome. And unfortunately, Sam Darnold hasn't. And I don't, like I said, I 100% appreciate what he said during his presser, because he was like, he was very professional, and he was honest in a lot of ways with how he felt about it. And I think, like, a guy like that, you want him to succeed, but like, at the end of the day, he might be better holding that clipboard, you know?
Or maybe even for a little while. And the last thing that stuck out to me is that he said, when you come into camp and compete, when you do these things and you compete, he's never had to compete, though.
Right.
I mean, that, like, you really have to think about this, is the guy was a tight end in high school and got recruited to be a quarterback, like, right. You know, like, they just like, and maybe he's been the best. Maybe he's got the football build, but it's not like he beat out dudes. In fact, Baker's had to compete his life in college and some different things. So, like, I had to try to remember this is like, maybe this is his first. I won't say first taste of disappointment, because New York probably was a big dose of disappointment stew, especially when you get traded so quickly and it was just terrible. But I don't know if he's necessarily, this is like one of those things when you're always the top pick on a team. Like, what happens when you're really not the top pick?
Yeah. Well, I also want to add to this too. At one point last season, Matt Rule and Phil Snow, when they were talking about why they decided to trade for Sam Darnold instead of drafting a Justin Fields or a Matt Jones or whatever, they said that they saw Matthew Stafford in Sam Darnold.
That's right. But that was Phil Snow. Remember that great, was it you that said that they were just like in a meeting afterwards, and it's like, Phil Snow was like, I can kind of see a little Matt Stafford in him. And they're like, you're right. Let's trade for him.
Yeah, they thought that they made the genius mastermind move. And listen, a part of me says that this is ego a little bit. The whole quarterback competition and the fact that they brought him in. If there is any chance in hell that they were right about their initial evaluation of Sam Darnold, they were going to give Sam an opportunity to show it. And I think that he didn't, which is obvious to everyone. And we all kind of knew that this was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, you know, again, like, Sam is going to be the most expensive backup in the NFL. And it pretty much is what it is. Greg had something he wanted to share, but before we do, CK, we've got a new member, brother. And it's not just any member. It's our girl, Legacy Lane.
Yeah.
Legacy Lines has decided to join the C3 Superfans. She said, here, take $1.99. I'd like to be a part of this exclusive club of Panthers fans who enjoy the content that C3 puts out. And for that, I say welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. Happy to have you. Greg, you wanted to share something? And then we're going to play some Baker Mayfield clips.
Yeah, just real quick, I wanted to point out I saw a few people ask in the chat room what we thought the record was going to be this year. And I did want to say that when we traded for Baker, we all took our votes down what the record would be. Me and Cody were 11-6. CK was 10-7, and Tony was.
Was that really 11-6?
Yep, and Tony was 8-9. However, all four of us said that Sam Darnold would start week 1.
But was this
All
before
four, all
Baker?
four of us
I didn't say
wrote it
that.
down. This was when we signed Baker
We
Mayfield.
might
We
need to
all
redo our
11-6,
predictions
me and
before the season
Cody,
starts.
8-9 for Tony, and 10-7 for CK, and we all said Baker. I couldn't believe it. Like I couldn't believe that I said Darnold was going to start week 1. To be truly honest with you,
Yeah,
But-
I know.
It just shows you how
I-
quick
That had
things
to have
change.
been before we traded for Baker, though, right?
No, because I wouldn't have written down that Sam Darnold starts week 1. Well, actually, it may have been before
Yeah.
Baker.
No,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
Matt Corral. It was the
Yeah,
Matt
I don't
Corral
have it
thing.
down.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
before Baker.
Hmm.
And
by
how
the way,
about
I
this? Is I
we
was
do need to
at, I
redo
was
it.
as high as 8-9 still.
8-9, yeah, I guess with Corral. Thinking
You
that
guys
That
Corral
was
really
what,
got
what,
me
what, Greg, what were
smoking
we
some
me and
good
you?
weed that
11 and
night.
6 or something
11 and
crazy
6
like
because I predicted
Yeah.
the Panthers were going to win like the last 6 games after their bye. I think I had
that?
them one loss.
We're gonna have to redo those before the start.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
do
going
it.
to do that next week because I think we have Matt, or we have now that we know that it's going to be
Yeah,
Baker
we know
Mayfield. We have a little bit more of a clear view of what our team is going to look like, and quite honestly, I think we see our wideouts are maybe a little more solid than just the initial 3 that we thought that were going to be the best, which was DJ Moore,
which is
Robbie Anderson, and Terrace Marshall Jr. Shai Smith is coming out, which we have a lot of talk. I think we can,
and Terrace
Rules,
Marshall Jr. is
loving him.
not. He's coming out in a red jersey.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to some Baker Mayfield clips real quick.
Yeah, let's do it. So, the first clip, this is going to be Baker Mayfield. It was the first question he was asked about winning the starting job, and this was his first response.
You had a busy day today. Walk us through finding out that you were the starter and just going to practice. You had a conversation with Sam.
Yeah, obviously, Sam and I knew this day was going to eventually come, but we weren't counting.
Can y'all hear that?
We didn't know when it was going to happen or anything like that. I just this morning was made aware that I was going to be starting, and saw Sam shortly after, and he made it very clear that anything I needed in support or in terms of that aspect, he was going to be there, and that just shows what kind of team guy he is. Honestly, just an unfortunate circumstance that we're both here in the same year fighting for a job, but that's the kind of guy he is. He said, whatever you need in support, he's just trying to win games, and that's the mentality we've had the whole time. So I truly really appreciate that, and he's a great guy.
So kind of, a normal type of answer, but he did say we both knew this day would come. Now, I took this to mean we both knew there was going to be a day when they would call a starter.
Yeah.
But I also feel like some people kind of took this as both me and Sam knew that there was going to be the day when I was named the starter. So I'm not sure. And by the way, Tony, let me address what you're showing right now. So I'm going to put that up. Go down a little bit.
That's on my phone.
Yeah, well, I don't know. So a lot of people are having this problem. Even my mom had this problem too. Like sometimes on your phone, the join button doesn't show up, especially if you're on like an iPhone. So what you gotta do is
iPhones.
So you gotta open up the that YouTube, go to our channel and Google Chrome, but go to the HTML version. So get rid of the little m.youtube that gets rid of the mobile version of the internet, and it just goes to the main thing.
Just go
and then you'll be
Android
able to see the join button.
Or you just go Android
Easier
and be
answer. Yeah.
cooler.
It's an easier answer.
Just hit that join. Hit that join. Right. Yeah, look, Baker said all the right things.
Well, yeah.
All right, let's
So-
keep going.
Yeah, this is Baker Mayfield about leadership. Did he kind of suppress some of that leadership basically until he was named the starter?
This
And
was a
again,
great
sorry
question. This was a great question and a good answer too.
if Dave Newton. Shout out Dave Newton.
Oh, everybody's been hating on him. He's still good.
Are there things
And again, sorry it's low. I can't really do anything about
that you've sort of helped
Blame the
from a
Panthers.
personality standpoint?
Oh, that's not David.
You weren't the guy yet. That now you might feel more comfortable.
Oh, I thought that was Dave. You're right, it's person.
Yes and no. Like off the field, was still having fun with the guys, messing with people. But when it came to on the field, at Wofford, I kind of mentioned it, had to learn to do my job first and foremost, learn that offense. And obviously, there's still room to grow, but continue to do that before you can really go out there and enjoy it. And, when things aren't moving 1,000 miles an hour, it's a lot more fun. So we're just trying to handle, the hard part of getting everything down first before letting, the personality and stuff come out. But, the passion is going to come out regardless. On the field, we're competing. And I love playing this game of football. I truly enjoy it. And so that side of me is always going to come out.
So Joe Person, not Dave.
Joe Person.
I don't even think it was Joe Person.
It sounded like Joe Person. I don't know. I probably don't know anything.
Can I just say, dude feels genuine. Like the reason why I love Jeremy Chin. I probably still want to buy a Jeremy Chin jersey, but after I saw this interview, I was like, he's a starter, and he sounds pretty good. I like listening to him. The answers are nice and quick, and they are like, it's not. He seems smart. He's a very charismatic guy. Like I could see this guy as my starting quarterback. There's more questions later that make me want to buy the jersey.
So this is. But did you have something you wanted to say, Tony?
I just like the yes and no is real, is like yes, like and no. I mean, I think he's honest. Like you can't hide who you are, but at the same time, like you don't want to come in and be like, he didn't come here like, this is my team, get out the way, like blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, he's actually not been any of the things that people say he is. How about this? The one other thing I want to highlight before you go on is, so what did the people that the Browns don't like him? All right, so I guess there is the play. Like, all right, so people say he's just not enough to get you over the hump. That's one thing, right? You could say too inconsistent, some people would say. But then there was the smear campaign by the Browns on the way out the door that he wasn't a good leader, that he, they needed a more mature quarterback. So then they went and got a dude that sexually assaults people or harasses people instead and more mature. But then Christian McCaffrey came out today and said, oh, Baker Mayfield is where he's so smart, which he does sound. He's excellently spoken. So I don't doubt that one bit. But he's like, he's in here at 5 a.m. I want to know how the fuck you know that, Christian McCaffrey. You ain't in there at 5 a.m. You still with Olivia at 5 a.m. There ain't no way. And really, come on, does being there early?
Too.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah. I would never go to work ever again. I'd be like, guaranteed money. Have you, man?
She might be there because of the guaranteed money.
Oh, God. Well, no, she makes more money he does, I bet.
No, you think?
Promise.
What does she do?
But she's not
she
like
just
Giselle
takes gorgeous pictures of herself and does sponsorships, dude. She probably makes like $100,000 a post. But
you're probably not wrong. Yeah.
All I know is I don't use Instagram a lot. So the problem is like, because I'm a Twitter person. And so I'm trying to get on these other social, like I'm trying to diversify, at least just for the podcast. But I totally followed Olivia and I liked her, like all of her photos but they totally put, like, my Instagram is like Olivia Copa every time. It's just right. And I'm like, I can't help it, man. She is like, sorry, good God. But 5 a.m. work ethic, but that doesn't sound like, I mean, that's what else you need to do? You know what we need them to do is go out there and not throw picks.
Honestly, at this point in time, we would be all right with that.
Yeah, man, it's like touchdowns.
So let's move on, because these next few things are kind of related. And actually, no, before we go on, we've got some new members. We gotta get through them real quick, man. Levi Warren, talk to him, Codizzle.
Levi Warren, you have decided, along with many other C3 faithful, to join the squad of C3 superfans. And for that, all four of us here on the panel, thank you, and just want to say welcome to the club.
You gotta welcome yourself to the club.
I was about to say,
were you testing it on the iPhone? Is that what we were doing?
I was testing it, a couple of things. I wanted to test the gifting feature as well. And so if you guys didn't know, you can. No worries, Hemlock. So down at the bottom, if you're on desktop, the little money symbol, you can click that where you can either do super sticker, super chat, and then membership gifting now. So you might, if you're in the chat interested in getting gifted, you may have to turn it on our main channel. That's what I had to do. I had to go look and see. So you may have to Google how to turn on gift, like how to receive gifts if you get them. So something to look into. But yeah, welcome to the club, everybody.
Now, if someone gift Lynn Leonhardt, she had to do her Android. She had to do her Android, and it was Legacy Lens. Get her Lynn Leonhardt one.
All right, so let's go to the next topic, sir.
Yeah. Okay. I had one more Baker clip. We can get to it later. So, yeah, let's talk about this. And we haven't really talked.
Crazy. I can't. This is
and listen. So this is the part where I start to go off, because this is everything that you need to know that the supposed competition here in Carolina, it was just words. It was all BS straight from the jump. Matt Rule says the starting offensive lineup is going to be Ike Ekwonu, left tackle, Brady Christensen, left guard, Bradley Bozeman, center, Austin Corbett, right guard, Taylor Moton, right tackle. Now, you might be saying, well, wait a minute, isn't this something similar to the line that we've all been wanting? And yes, as a matter of fact, it's damn near identical. Why was there ever a competition? I mean, Pat Elflein has taken more snaps at center than Bradley Bozeman. And yet Matt Rule is comfortable saying Bradley Bozeman's the starter. So then why were you giving Pat Elflein all those reps at center? Now, some people are saying maybe they wanted Bradley Bozeman and Baker Mayfield to be on the same page, because sometimes Baker went with the twos. I don't know if that's believable to me. But then on top of that, and I want someone, literally anyone, to tell me what Brady Christensen has done to lose the left tackle competition. No, there was never a competition, because he never did anything to lose the left tackle position. They knew that they were going to be playing Christensen at guard instead of tackle. So why did you waste so much precious time burning the cohesion of our offensive line for this competition that truly didn't mean anything at all from the jump? And I wanted to kind of tie that in to our next slide, because these are kind of like a twofer. There were some ugly practices from our offense the past 2 days in a row. This is from Ellis Williams today. He says, it's been an ugly practice for the Panthers on offense. Baker Mayfield spraying balls, Matt Rule stopping practice to yell, the defense winning red zone and situational sessions, only 21 days until we play the Browns. In my mind, this goes back to this fake quarterback competition that they have been forcing on to us, and at the offensive line as well. I think that it has set our offense back, and I wouldn't be surprised if it takes a little time before our offense is actually able to find a legitimate rhythm. And that's it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
y'all go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think that's something we've all been saying. I mean, when we signed Bozeman and Corbett, I think we all knew that, like, we all had a. Let me rephrase. I think we all knew the lineup was going to be Icky, Brady, Bozeman, Corbett, and Moton. I think we all knew that. Now, Cody didn't want to see Icky on left tackle. He wanted to see Christensen and Icky maybe going into the left guard position. But I think we all knew this was going to be the starting lineup. So this idea, again, and who knows, we may be looking back on this and being like, hey, maybe this is the way you're supposed to do this. But as of right now, it looks like just another one of these things that isn't going to work in the NFL, right? When you've got these guys who are professionals that you're bringing in from outside of the organization, free agents. You're drafting, some of these guys, like Icky, for instance. You're drafting him high, right? They've earned it because they got to the point where they were drafted in the top 10. They got it because they were so good that we decided to put them on our team through free agency, right? We knew what we were dealing with. We knew what we had last year, and it wasn't good, right? Those guys competed last year, and it didn't work. So now we're going to do this again? Like, it should have been this the whole time. I think that this could be a scenario. If we can get, like I said, depending upon how this works out on Friday, we'll see how our team looks. They're going to have 2 weeks to try to gel, and then we'll see what happens on the 11th. But I have a feeling that this might be a slow to start out type of a team. I'm hoping that's not the case, but I think it's going to take a little while for them to get their rhythm. But I think we will, and that's where I think my optimism comes in.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
CK, you had mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Matt Rule stuff in the competition about how you thought there's the possibility of maybe Matt Rule, in Matt Rule's mind, he really did think there was a competition.
Yeah, I think he does.
So with that, I've got to ask, there's only two outcomes to that. There's only two explanations for that. Is one, you've manifested a lie in your mind and you believe your own lie, which is a little bit sociopathic, or you're just not good at what you do. Those are the only two solutions to that problem right there.
Right.
If you truly believe there's competition, same way with all this, then you're just not good at what you do, unless you really told yourself a lie and believe this lie. That's the only other answer. So I don't know, man. Like I said, we've been saying it the whole time. The moves don't make any sense what they're doing. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it does make it makes no sense. Again, like literally.
Did you hear my little kid, by the way? I've been having trouble with my audio.
I heard. That's why. I didn't know what it was.
Okay. Here I want to. I don't want to argue about the Icky and Christensen thing at all. I think at the very end of the day, you can say, I thought you brought up a lot of fair points, Cody, when it comes to that tandem. I do agree with you, as Christensen didn't do anything to lose that job. So I think you've raised a lot of good points. But at the end of the day, we all knew that those two guys, or we all believed those two guys, needed to be on that left side in some form or fashion. You can pick the order. You can pick what they were. The question really comes back to this is like, one was the Michael Jordan, the continuing putting Michael Jordan in there. Like he was earning that. But I don't even care about that one. It's the Pat F line taking all the snaps with the ones. And I don't buy the Baker Mayfield joint. I don't buy they wanted to pair him. And if that, maybe. I mean, that is some I don't know. I just feel like this is ridiculous because Bradley Bozeman, first, he didn't even play with the ones, right? Two, people were then trying to tell us that he didn't play that great. Remember, people were well, he wasn't that great in the snaps he was. 3, he gets hurt. Matt Rule came out of that Friday game and goes, we don't know anything. We don't know who our starter is. We're not making decisions. And by the time they got to Charlotte, he was like, I just want to tell you what our plan was the whole time.
Yeah, I mean,
the quarterbacks. You remember the quarterbacks dressed on Friday and then didn't play? I still think that was strange.
I don't know why they dram.
Why did they make them both dress and then they weren't going to play them? I guess in case that was odd. That was odd.
And I do want to ask you all this. And by the way, shout out to all the new members. Promise we're going to get to each and every one of you. But I did want to key in on this. I didn't want it to get lost in the shuffle. We have had 2 bad days of practice.
They named Baker the starter, and then he just started sucking.
I mean, but also
even starter, and then it's just
even if you go back to when we were doing joint practices with the Patriots, we were having a lot of issues on offense against their defense. So again, I'm really wondering how much this shuffling of the O-line, shuffling of the quarterbacks has really kind of put them behind the curve in terms of their preparedness and, the things that they're kind of capable of doing. And I think that's legit. Or is it now? I did put this question though: is our offense just unprepared, or are we starting to see the starting signs of a really ferocious defense?
I think that doesn't need to be overlooked simply for the fact that Matt Rule's drafted mostly defense, almost all defense he's been here, and he's got some really good defensive players that are been playing together for a few years now, or probably are gelling together. Now, once again, preseason and practice against your own team. So I want to see what else. But I mean, even the bet, if you have an elite defense, you can stop one of the top offenses. And I'm not saying we're a top offense, but you can stop a good offense with an elite defense. I mean, it's just the way it works. So I don't think it can be overlooked, but I don't think it completely tells the story. Like, I don't think that by saying our offense is failing, that our defense is superior. You know what I mean?
Right now, I think this is a story of the offense being behind. And we got to ask if Joe Riolano's in the chat. He knows this, is if he's still in there. I think, is it that defenses are ahead early on?
Generally, I believe so, yeah.
They're ahead early on in the season and they start to click. So I don't know. I'm not ready to say our defense is stout. Like, I mean, we might have is that we need to see this defensive line start getting after mugs. And we don't know yet. We won't know until the season starts. We won't even learn in game 3.
Yeah, they say the defense has a bit of a heads up, or they're a bit of a above the offense during these early part of the offseason, because we as our offense just run the same plays, and they see our offense being installed. They know what we're running, so it's a lot easier for them to defend their own team than it is to defend somebody else. So I think there should be some you got to take that into consideration as well, because even if you think about it, even when we've had our best offenses, they've looked less than incredible during the preseason. So
and Joe Riolano is in the chat, and he does concur that it is in fact the defense. But listen, it's that time of the show. We've got a lot of people watching right now. And one of the things that I know that all of these people have in common is that they pretend to be here for the Panthers and, my really nice hair and Greg's really handsome beard. But really, they just come here to get shamed by the voice that makes him moist. So far be it from me to keep you from him any longer. Big Papa, talk to your subjects.
First, business needs to be handled, and that is welcoming 2 new members to the C3 Superfan Club, and that's going to be Padawan Panther and White Chocolate Espresso. Welcome to the club. That also being said, you guys have joined in here to hear 4 guys who are fans of the Panthers just like you discuss the incompetencies within our coaching staff, whether or not there was ever a competition, and the fact that Baker Mayfield has now been named QB1 for the Carolina Panthers. And you've come in here, hit that like button. Maybe you haven't. And if you haven't, I have one thing to say to all you freaks. Subscriber shame.
Subscriber shame. 233 people, 124 thumbs up. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell for every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live. Real quick, shout out to Hemlock for the $9.99. Says appreciate you guys. Wasn't sold on Baker in the beginning, but his poison swagger is infectious, and I hope he kills it this year. We appreciate that, man. We're all hoping for something similar. And go ahead, CK, do your thing, bud.
We got one more member of the C3 Superfan Club, and that is Promise. It won't let me scroll. Promise QS Panda. He's joined the club. Oh my goodness, you guys are just rolling in.
You might be reading all night.
Welcome into the C3 Superfan Club. And I want to say to everything that I can to all of you, we appreciate your support. And if you haven't done so, the whole point of Subscriber Shame is to make sure you hit that like button. That is the only thing we expect from you. But we do appreciate when you hit that join button.
Oh,
Looks like, I don't know if Hemlock gave that donation through a gift or if he's also a member. So thank you for that. Look, you guys, we've built first. I'm overwhelmed by the support that we're getting right now. This is really, it makes me feel fantastic. We don't do this for the money. Believe me, if we did this for the money, we would quit a long.
We do it because we love y'all, man.
Stubby thinks that my voice is an effect.
We love talking about the Panthers like every week, and you can't shut us up about them. But we've laid the reason that these members are coming in and joining like this, and this overwhelming support that makes me feel just warm and fuzzy inside, is because for the last 10 years, we've laid a groundwork of community. We built the foundation for a community. So these people feel part of it. And we just thank you again for your input and also your generosity here, but just the input, the conversation. And you can call in and let us know how you feel about these Carolina Panthers at 252-228-5098. I do want to point out this is that there's some features like you can do like members only chat. Like we could turn off the chat and only for members. Somebody messaged me on YouTube and said, are we not going to have live chat if you're not a member? No, folks, we don't have any plans of that right now. Right now, this is just another way to support the podcast. We continue to keep this a fan-oriented show, right, is to keep it just a conversation. I always think about it as us riding in the car. At this point, we need a big-ass bus. We're riding in a big-ass Greyhound bus to the game back and forth. That's how cool it is, talking and chopping it up. So, you know what, Cody, let's go ahead and get into some cat calls. Go ahead. I got the cat call pulled up. You pull up the video.
Yep.
And somebody tip the cap. Greg, can you tip the cap when the words stop?
Yes.
But the music plays, because I can't see it. I might be able to hear it, though. I don't think I can.
And before we do, shout out to Marcio McGriff for the $2. And you know what else he did.
Marcio McGriff, I have one thing to say to you. And just to prove this is my real voice, I'm going to do it like this and then do this. You guys know this is really Codizzle, CK, and I would like to welcome 2 new members to the C3 Superfan, and it's going to be Marcio McGriff. It's going to be ATX19. You guys have joined the elite club of C3 Superfans. Welcome in to the club.
It's incredible.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into some of these cat calls. The number once again is 252-228-5098. Let your voice be heard, Panther Nation.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty you shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like a 3 and a 4 and a who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey guys, this is Panther Pickle. Saturday morning, about 11:37. Just got done mowing the grass, doing things, and got to thinking. And early this morning, I listened to the last little bit of the show we did yesterday on Friday, and hope I didn't ruffle anybody's feathers by my emotional outburst. But I want to clarify something. I believe Matt Corral is going to be a good quarterback, or could be a good quarterback, if he's under the right coaching staff. I don't think the coaching staff that we currently have can develop Matt Corral. I really have a lot of issues wondering if they can develop anybody as far as the highlight skill level is. But I don't think he could start either time this year or next. Steve Smith mentioned 2 years. Maybe Rule did. That may be right. He may take 2 years of core development by quality coaching staff. But like I said, I don't think our coaching staff's quality. And what hurts the most is having to tell you, baby, because I ignored his question yesterday, that if Matt Corral was a 6th or 7th pick, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We would say, well, looks pretty good for a late round pick. That's life. We'll put him on a practice squad, move on. That's a fact. But he's not, so we're not. And, I don't like to go back and see what we should have done in last year's draft, because I could go back in every draft class and do that. That's just that fact. And you don't know what the linebackers are going to be in the future anyway. Sometimes the best folks look great in preseason, but come regular season, they stink. So, offensive and defensive coordinators game plan against players all the time. Y'all have a good one. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
Poor Connor, who was, I felt like I was going to feel bad for Connor, but he was just serving up ice cold disses to me the whole show.
He was.
He was just throwing out lefts and rights on everybody, so I didn't feel bad for it. But at the end of the show, he's like, "Can we please just watch the football game and not talk about my career?" He was so excited.
Oh, he was getting irritated, yeah.
Oh,
but here's the defense to that. That was the only storyline of that entire game outside of Icky, right? And maybe some offensive line. That was the only storyline. PJ Walker is what he is what we knew he was, right? Which is a shaky at best backup quarterback, right? Matt Corral was going to be the question the entire time about what that game was going to how he looked. Whether it was with 2s, whether it was with 3s or 4s. And again, I went back. I don't know, Cody, if you got a chance to do some film review, but it didn't look great.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, crap. Don't be mad at me, Nick. So can someone send the link to the show to Nick? Cody, can you invite Nick Montero to the show? I haven't seen him.
Join?
Yeah, he wanted to talk about his experience where he
Hang on.
At the game. So if you could message him while we're getting through these calls. Let's see. This might even be him here.
That's 2 games up here in New England that I've been to.
This poor guy's never been
goddamn quarterbacks broke their Liz Frank.
Oh,
starting to see a trend here, and I don't like it. Seems like any team that I start to follow that isn't the Patriots, their quarterback is injured.
We're gonna need
hold my beer. I'm about to become a Falcons fan.
Hell yeah!
Tampa Bay. Did he say a Dolphins fan?
No, a Falcons fan. He said, "Hold my beer. I'm gonna become a Falcons fan."
Tampa Bay, man. Tampa Bay right now. Yeah, he's up at that game. He was up at the game. He's got some. I'm gonna have to put all those videos on the website still about. But and that reminds me. Somebody said, as they said, what did you see? What did Matt Rule see between Friday and Monday that made Baker? Somebody said this is he saw Sam Darnold throw 3 picks in the practices against New England, and that's what it was. Is that and let's be fair about this, is Baker did win the job.
Right.
He did everything to show it. Darnold played safe and didn't play well when he could have. He didn't do anything great enough to separate, and in practice, he threw a lot of underneath stuff. I mean, it wasn't, and Darnold shined. And Mayfield shined a few times. Yeah. So, it's he didn't lose it entirely, but he didn't win it,
So, I was going to say one thing, Greg. We mentioned Matt Corral. I have a slide for him. We can talk about him now or later.
Yeah, let's go ahead. He brought it up. We brought Liz Frank in Friday. Matt Corral goes down. He had a Liz Frank injury. They said they were waiting until today. So I guess this tweet is from today.
All right.
That they've decided that he will surgically repair his Liz Frank. And I got to say, before anything, they said he came out of the locker room in a boot. That had to have been the most giant boot in the world. He must have looked like fucking Neil Armstrong on
some clown shoes.
Well, he's already got a big ass foot, and then you put that big ass foot in a big ass boot. Good Lord.
Yeah, man. So after I'll say this, or I want to say this, and then we got some new members to welcome. So I'll let CK warm up those pipes. But look, would you all say that I've been excited for Matt Corral? Huh? Yes. You think I've been generally
slightly.
Yeah, it would be like Deshaun Watson ain't gone every night to him. Yeah, that would be that.
I've been excited about Matt Corral, right? I've even said I wanted to see him get a chance this year, which I'm not saying it was ready, but I still don't think it was given a great chance, right? Okay, well, I was saying this on Twitter before we ever traded for Baker Mayfield, and I'll go ahead and say it now. We might not ever see Matt Corral take a snap as starter for the Carolina Panthers.
Agreed.
Generally ever. Let me walk you through this real quick, right? There's a bunch of different scenarios. If Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback this year and puts up 10 or 11 wins, they're going to give him a new contract. If anything, they give him a franchise tag. Either way, that means him here for another year. And then if he continues to put up big numbers, well, then you're damn sure never going to see Matt Corral, especially if he gets a new contract. On the other hand, let's say the Panthers are bad this year, and we have another 5-win season or 4-win season. We're probably looking at a new head coach, are we not? Okay, yeah. If you're looking at a top 10 pick in the draft, and you have a brand new head coach, and yeah, you have a 3rd-round pick that you traded up for.
That's coming off an injury.
There might be a shiny new quarterback who might be 6'3", 230 plus pounds in the draft that is a much higher rated prospect than Matt Corral coming out. So I'm not being a hater. I'm being realistic. We might never see Matt Corral play meaningful football for the Carolina Panthers, and I hate that. Because and Tony, you wanted to bring this up during the show, that all these other rookie quarterbacks, they're balling out. Malik Willis has some incredible throws.
I like this. I feel like I'm going to be a Malik Willis fan right now because, one, I was interested in taking him at what did we pick at 6?
Yeah.
Like, I was at the point. Like, I was like, let's do it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But then it kept going down and down. But here, now I'm a Malik Willis fan because he slipped so far, and then once he slipped, the whole internet like turned against him, or not the internet, but maybe the NFL prognosticators.
Yeah, the media heads and everything. Yeah,
they're like, oh, well, this tells you that. I was like, blah blah. And now I'm rooting for him to just fucking be a boss.
Well, I mean, it's not even.
Anyway, but like it almost feels I just don't want to be as susceptible to the group thing, and that's what I feel like
it's not even just Malik Willis. Kenny Pickett has looked really, really good. Sam Howell has looked really, really good. A guy that we played against, and everybody and their mama wanted to compare Matt Corral against Sam Howell
and Desmond Ritter.
Not a good comparison.
And I'll say it too.
Desmond Ritter is apparently looking good.
I'm still burned about Trey Lance. To be truly honest with you, if Trey Lance ends up blowing up, Baker Mayfield's the only thing to say that for me. If Trey Lance ends up blowing up, I'm gonna be pissed about that.
But we had no shot at Trey Lance.
I thought we had a shot. I thought we had there for our
Justin Fields and Mac Jones.
Oh, I thought okay. Well, I can't be. I thought we had everybody there.
No, that was the one. The 49ers traded up to like the 3rd round or to the number 3 spot to get him.
It was Justin Fields, but who is? Look, I'm gonna say this. I haven't watched all of the Kenny Pickett tape. I've watched the highlights, and people are like, "Oh, he looks so great," and it's actually at the things he's supposed to be good at, right? And it's like low level throws, mid level. You know, it's not like, and I'm not saying that can't win. I just don't know if I've seen anything yet that goes, oh my God, Justin Herbert.
Right. But listen, whether or not they are or they aren't, all these rookie quarterbacks have a limited sample size in the preseason, which was to show you something. The highest quarterback ratings amongst rookies these preseason goes as follows: Kenny Pickett, Skylar Thompson, Desmond Ridder, Brock Purdy, Malik Willis, Bailey Zappi, Sam Howell, and then Matt Corral at the very bottom. So you can either sit there and tell me that Matt Corral was the worst and least prepared quarterback of the bunch when coming out with all these other quarterbacks in this last year's draft, or Matt Corral was drafted to a team with a head coach who is notorious for not being able to develop rookie offensive players.
Both could be true.
Gave him the shot.
Both could be true.
I think it's a little bit of both. Yeah.
No, I don't think so, man.
I don't think so. And you might be right.
You can't tell me that Bailey Zappi is a better quarterback and is a more accurate quarterback.
72
Matt Corral.
Is that the guy that threw 72 touchdowns last year?
Cody, all I'm saying is Cody.
Or some shit like that.
I think he had. Who was the guy? Who was the quarterback? Maybe it's not Zappi. Remember who was that one quarterback that threw like 7,000?
No, it might have been Zappi.
So here's what I'll say, and this is, like I said, this is not to condemn Matt Corral, because I don't think we've seen enough of it. I don't think that he was put in the best position. I think this staff could have made two decisions. Either one of these would have put Matt Corral in a much better situation, and that is either cut PJ Walker once you got Baker Mayfield, or cut Sam Darnold like earlier than right now, right? Because you needed to get him into a position where he was taking more substantial reps. I was shitting on Matt Corral because his play wasn't good. Like, he didn't look like a good quarterback. I don't think that that's just solely his fault. I don't know. We have no way of knowing how good of a quarterback he's going to be in the NFL. He could very well be a complete bust. We don't know. Like, we haven't seen anything to the contrary. We also haven't seen him be given an opportunity to prove anything beyond that. My thought on the entire matter is, right now, like, there's a lot of people who wanted to compare why, at least on Twitter, again, wanted to get into some arguments with me about whether or not these arguments that Matt Corral wasn't given the right number of reps or given fair reps or anything like that. Like, and then they wanted to say you weren't arguing for Will Grier. Well, Will Grier didn't come into a situation where he was watching two guys battle for the number one spot, taking both the first and second, and having to take thirds the entire time, and fourths in a lot of cases. Matt Corral was having to take fourth team reps for the most part, and we all know that those guys are getting the smallest number of reps. They're not putting them in there for a long term. Right. Most of those guys are hoping to make the special teams, not the actual 53-man roster of offense or defense, just that special teams unit that most people who aren't good enough to make it to those others are trying to get to. So I think that Will Grier, if you look at that, back at the history of that, Will Grier got his opportunity to run with the twos because he was in a battle for the backup position, not third string or fourth string. He was in the battle for the backup. Matt Corral was given a short stick. And I'm willing to say that falls on Rule, but I'm also willing to say Matt Corral just isn't ready yet. Obviously we won't know this year.
True. I think both can be true. It's like, and look, is that you don't know. I mean, if we would have been more invested in Matt Corral, then he could have looked better. I don't think he looked bad or anything. Like, I don't necessarily feel like I'm not ready to be worried about these other guys looking that great and stuff like this. I do think the Panthers didn't invest in him at all. And that's fine. You know what? Once we didn't draft a quarterback in our time to draft a quarterback was the year before, not this past year, the year before.
Before that, yeah. I agree.
Right, because Matt Rule his leash is not long enough to roll with a rookie. Like, it just isn't long enough, especially one who isn't like the fucking bomb.com already.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not trying to diss on him, but like, let's not put him in the same conversation of a guy coming out like a Cam Newton or Trevor Lawrence, or Andrew Luck or something like that. It's a different type. I mean, there's a reason that this quarterback class, there's no quarterback went number one. And I know the Jags weren't picking one, but there were quarterbacks. So there were teams that needed quarterbacks ahead and of 20, obviously.
There was no clear cut. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. This guy, we think they are a clear, great player right away. There's a lot of, there could be value here. There could be potential. There could be something. Let's not write people off. But there was no and can't miss quarterback in this class in people's eyes. So I think, and I just don't think that. Look, imagine if the Panthers did invest, like say, you know what, Matt Corral, we're going to roll with Matt Corral this year, and they roll with him. They didn't trade for Baker Mayfield. They picked Matt Corral at 6, and they thought he was like, it's like there's no way Matt, like you know what kind of season he would have to have for Matt Rule to keep his job. Right. Like, I mean, he doesn't have a long enough leash for them to go 5 wins.
I think the thing that frustrates me the most is that there are teams that will have rookie offensive players come out of nowhere and be a legitimate producer for that team, right?
Chargers.
Sometimes 6th, 7th round picks. It happens every year. That doesn't happen with Matt Rule. Granted, it's only been 3 years. It's going on 3rd year. Yeah. But I mean, still, the fact that we were talking about this with Brady Christensen last year, and to another extent, Deontay Brown, that's a whole nother conversation. Then it's like now we're doing it again with jumbling this offensive line and making them compete for the jobs that we already know they have. And now we're doing this quarterback competition for when we always knew that was a farce. All of these things seem in line with what Matt Rule does. I think that is a real inadequacy of Matt Rule as a head coach, and that's developing young offensive rookie players. I'm not here to tell you that Matt Corral was going to save the season and take us to the Super Bowl or any of that. But what I'm saying is to look at just this preseason, those 2 games, and say that was enough of a sample size to say that, well, Matt Corral, he was the least of the bunch. He wasn't able to do what Desmond Ridder and Pickett and Bailey Zappi, they were drafted after him. Like, I'm just not trying to hear it. I think Matt Corral got the shaft, and I'm hoping that at some time in the future we actually do get to see him play some legitimate snaps for us.
There's only one way, and we'll go on to Greg. Go ahead, Greg. You've been trying to make this point.
Well, no, I was just going to ask, like, has the Panthers learned a lesson here? Like, if you're not going to pick a quarterback in the first round, when you need a quarterback, don't trade up for anybody in the 2nd or 3rd. Because we did that with Greer, right? And now Corral. Neither one of them worked out. So if you're not going to pull the trigger in the first round, don't trade away the future.
Be like the 5th
for a 3rd or 5th. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. So that's a lesson we should learn, right?
Yeah.
This has never worked out for us. Pull the trigger, draft in first round.
There's one way, and I still disagree with Cody on one thing about how Matt Corral could see the field. I think Baker Mayfield is I guess if Baker Mayfield wouldn't have come here, there was a way that, like, you could have said Matt Corral could have been awesome in the preseason and he could have seen the field. But again, that's a long shot. But right now, I think Baker Mayfield is the only thing that could make it so that Matt Corral could be a Panther in the future. Right. And like you see meaningful snaps. And I think what Baker would have to do is have a good but not incredible season. Right. So you have a 9-win season, and it's not all because of Baker, but he was a part. Then they franchise tag him, and then he does it again. And but doesn't have an incredible season. So you don't. It's enough to save. It would have to be enough to save Rule's job,
right?
But not enough to extend Baker Mayfield.
That would have
2 seasons in a row.
The good news for Cody is I think next year Matt Corral is going to be, if nothing else, the actual backup, meaning that we're going to allow him to actually get some substantial reps in the preseason and some runs with actual ones potentially as well. I think that's probably the best case scenario at this point. Again, I told you at the beginning, and I'm going to shout out a couple of these new members here in just a second. But I told you when we got Baker Mayfield, it is a win-win for you, Cody, in every way possible. It is a absolute win-win Because if Baker Mayfield comes in here and blows it up and he is a franchise quarterback, well, we've signed him and he's a franchise quarterback, period. Right? Win-win. If he comes in here and he just doesn't do well, maybe he's a middle of the pack quarterback, we're not going to sign him as a franchise quarterback anymore. Like, it's not going to happen. We're tired of that. We want the guy who's going to take us to the next level. Now, that may mean that we get a guy in the draft next year who could be a franchise quarterback, or it may mean we roll with Matt Corral. But either way, we're still in a better spot from a quarterback perspective than we were before this year started. So I think that this is a win-win season for the Panthers. It sucks if we lose to be a fan of the Panthers and not be a winning season. But from a future of the Carolina Panthers, it's a win-win no matter how this season goes.
We'll see. Time will tell, man. I certainly hope so. I just, I have this mindset that we just got to wait and see with everything.
Yeah.
I'm just putting forth some possibilities of things that may happen, things that may not happen. Obviously, I hope you're correct.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people say this is the best thing for Matt Corral. I hope that's true. And again, I hope that Baker is able to lead us to success.
Yeah.
Whether or not it happens, we're going to have to see, man. You have to make some believers out of some fans this year. Doesn't mean we're not a fan. I'm definitely a fan. I'm never going to not be a fan. But I think this offense needs to produce. And from our coaches to Baker Mayfield to McCaffrey staying healthy, everybody has to feel like this is a prove-it season. Something I've been saying for a long time now. It's a prove-it season, and that's exactly what they need to do. Before we go forward,
speaking of fans,
yeah, why don't you welcome some of these new badass members that we keep acquiring, huh?
Well. We have had 2 new members join the C3 Superfan Club. And I'm going to shout out the one and only TJ, the one and only GoldenEye 007 Rare Gamer 99. You hit that join button down there at the bottom of your screen that said, hey, I want to be a part of this crew. I want to support this podcast, this show, these guys who put effort in, who put this grind in, and we appreciate you. We don't expect it, but we appreciate you guys immensely. Welcome into the club.
CK, you touched me in a special spot when with that voice, and you said GoldenEye 007. I was just like, oh, it was great.
I see the Rare Gamer 99 and I see that icon. I'm like every time I see him in chat, I'm like, oh my God, I want to go back and play some GoldenEye.
Yes.
Good days.
That, and I was just kind of like, that was it. What was the one? I used to play it on the computer, and it was a shooter game. It was
Duke Nukem.
No, I think it was Doom.
Oh yeah, Doom was on. Yeah,
other people. Like, those are the games that set the tone for what gaming is today, where you're playing 100%. Other people. I mean, good gosh, that GoldenEye game, man, we must have played a bazillion hours of that.
Yeah, dude.
Let's go to the next call, 252-228-5098.
Hi, guys. Rich in the UK. It's been a little while. So Baker Mayfield's our quarterback. I'm really pleased. I said that before. Sam Darnold is just terrible, so it doesn't really matter. I think we might win 10 games. I think we might win 9 or 10 games. I really quite like the look of the whole team. But Tony, you might have to edit this, but why is Matt Rule such a complete cunt? Seriously. What was it? Camp Confidential. He's like this bad second-hand car salesman come preacher. And, like, you can see, the players are cringing. If they paid any attention to him, they wouldn't have been fighting against the Patriots. All this, it's a process, we've got a way of doing things. They clearly ignore him. Otherwise, they wouldn't have these issues. Yeah, we've seen it for nearly, 2 seasons and now. All the stuff he goes on about, they clearly aren't paying major attention to him. I think a load of the other coaches, from what I've seen, look really, really good. New special teams guy, the O-line guy. I think I quite like what McAdoo said. Yeah, I'm really, really encouraged, and I'm really encouraged by the whole team. So looking forward to going into the new season. Might try and get myself a Mayfield jersey and take photos of it just to annoy Cody. The other thing, though, that's more serious topic for you. What do we do with Terrace Marshall? He's penciled in as our wide receiver 3.
Perfect segue.
And that's what we all think. But the guy can't get out there. It's possible he's someone with a low pain tolerance. It's possible once you're in pain, you feel pain more often. And he just can't get healthy. As somewhat, I saw a tweet earlier about likening it a bit to Curtis Samuel. But Shai Smith's looked good. Higgins has got a relationship with Baker. He does offer something different because without really decent tight ends, we don't have that large target. But it's becoming a bit of a concern. I mean, you don't want to write him off yet or do anything silly like cutting, but certainly worth conversation with you guys because, I mean, they were saying he was tearing it up in camp. But that just takes you all the way back to Kelvin Benjamin, who was tearing it up in camp and his ACL, came back and turned into the Titanic, and that was the last anyone saw of him. So slightly concerning, but otherwise looking pretty good. It sounds like Bozeman might be back, and hopefully we'll get in ahead of Elfline, and then the O-line we all wanted might be okay. Right, you're going to knock me off. Take care, guys. Keep pounding.
Dude, shout out to Rich.
Miss you, Rich.
Yeah, I love Rich Kingston. By the way, I love it when English people call someone a cunt. It's the best, dude. It's the best insult. If you're American, like, don't even say that word unless you put a British accent on it, because it just doesn't sound right.
Only one way to say it cooler than that, and that's being from New Zealand.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever heard a New Zealander.
The boys guy. That's what the boys dude is. He calls.
Yeah.
And my favorite. First, they started filming season 4 of The Boys, which is awesome. One of my favorite shows right now, or been recently. But my man said that people come up to him on the street, like autographs, and they ask him to call him a cunt. Like, it's like, will you call me a cunt?
Dude, it's great. Shout out to all of our viewers across the pond.
Oh man, we got a lot of people from there's a lot of people. No wonder the NFL is trying to expand.
Oh yeah. Oh damn, man, dude, we have a lot of UK fans.
And we get all people from all over, but Rich has been with us for a long time. But he did segue us to a topic that we wanted to talk about. And that's Terrace Marshall Jr. Terrace Marshall Jr. did not dress for the game on Friday. They were asked about it, or Matt Rule was asked about it in the post game, and he said he practiced some. They thought he was going to go, and then he turned up sore, and he said he couldn't go. It's one of those things too where it's starting to feel like this. Is like the coaching staff is kind of becoming irritated that they can't go, and the player is like trying to protect not do like maybe hurt themselves more. But he said he's had a good camp, but we need Terrace Marshall Jr. to practice. Then this tweet, which I don't know if I buy anything from this. I will say this is that this is just as well sourced as somebody who says per source. I would say that was my joke today. It's like, this is a little flimsy. It only says source, not per source. Right. But they said the Panthers have received calls regarding former second round pick Terrace Marshall Jr. And then he practiced yesterday. Like all of a sudden, Matt Rule says you need to practice. And then guess what happened?
He practiced.
Is it practice?
And then he isn't the next day.
Monday he practiced, and then today he's in the injury jersey.
Yeah, I don't know how much I give credit to this this non-verified account with a source as being the reason why they say, and it's just they've received calls. It's not like they've actually been shopping him. That they're making calls.
Yeah, but it just is, the what this tweet came out, it could be completely manufactured. Right? This could be a troll tweet. But the thing is that like Panther fans have been asking about Terrace Marshall Jr. Then they asked the coach about Terrace Marshall Jr. the coach was not just glowing about the situation. He was like, it was a bleak kind of comment about it. Then he comes out and practices, and then he's immediately hurt again. And you're starting to wonder, like Rich is saying, I won't say pain time. Isn't this the fear of picking a guy who had an injury in college, like who was injured when you pick him?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He was hurt when we picked him, and he's been hurt the whole time already.
But look at someone like Trey Smith, who fell down everyone's board because he had injury concerns. Not only has he not missed a snap, he was an all-pro. So it's like it's kind of half of one, 12 of one, half a dozen of the other. My thing is this. What kind of trade market even exists for Terrace Marshall Jr., and do we even give him up? So, for example, Terrace Marshall Jr. has shown no one nothing. As we mentioned, he was injury-prone coming into the draft.
That's how we think it's bullshit.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, is there any legitimacy to this?
Oh, you know who it was? Actually, I do know who it was. It's the fucking Patriots.
No. See, that's something different. I was thinking. Okay,
this is some Bill Belichick shit right here. He'll be like, "We'll give you a fifth for him." Or he was like, "We practiced with y'all. I saw him. He looks good."
Can I ask? TMJ went to LSU, right?
Yes, he sure did.
Did he play with Joe Burrow?
Yes, he did.
Oh, yeah.
The only team I could think of that would be interested in a player that hasn't shown anything on the field, not saying he's not good, but hasn't shown anything on the field and been injured, would be a rookie quarterback that had really good success with that wide receiver in his college.
It would be a junior quarterback. This is his third year now,
but yeah, he's a younger quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Sorry.
But no, what about Josh Allen? What about Buffalo?
Well, we're getting ready to play them.
What connections does he have to Buffalo? Why would they want him?
Joe Brady is there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Joe Brady. Okay.
Yeah.
Some people say the reason we picked him is Joe Brady. And then the other thing, and that could be a Brandon Bean thing. It's like, hey, just throw a couple of dollars out there and see if someone takes it.
Yeah.
So what's a 5th round pick or a 6th round pick if you got a conditional? Like, you know what I'm saying? You might be able to make it up if you get a free agent walk or something like that. Doesn't hurt nothing.
But I don't, because you gave up a second for him, though. And you gave him 1 year.
It hurts us, but the team just saying,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's like nothing to them.
Would you be willing to entertain this? Let's say that it was real.
No.
I mean, let's say that it was real. Like, what deal makes you say yes to this?
Nothing above a 3.
Yeah, it has to be a 3 or better.
Bust, bro. We just need him to not be a bust. Fuck that. Like, we need to just him to work.
Can I be honest with you? I think that we have to give him, even if it doesn't work out this year, he's got to get next year without Matt Rule being the coach, and then see where his motivation is.
And by the way, we have to mention at some point the guy that everyone's mentioning in the chat room, Shi Smith.
Yeah.
And Tony, I've been a big fan of Shi Smith for a long time. And let me tell you, he has already started to show way more than our 2nd round pick, Terrace Marshall, ever has. I don't want to hear nothing about Demir Bird. It's Shi Smith season.
Chirp.
When Matt Rule was talking about when Matt Rule was talking about Shi Smith in the interview, he said that when healthy, he's the best receiver we have, which blew my mind. He had to be speaking like hyperbolically. There's no way he's better than DJ Moore. But he said, when healthy, he's the best receiver we have.
CMC's comments on Shi Smith were even more interesting.
What did he say?
CMC basically said, we see something really special in him, and it's up to him to choose to basically get to the next level, because we believe that he is going to be special.
What the fuck else does he got to do? He goes out there and what looks like he's trying as hard as he fucking like.
Matt Rule.
Nah. Look, I'm not ready to overlook is that I think he's like our preseason camp darling. And you know what? Look, Demir Bird was that for me.
I don't know. I think we have a lot of camp darlings this year.
What's that?
I think we have a lot of camp darlings this year.
Really?
Brandon Smith, Barno, Shi Smith. Sullivan, even if you want to get Saunders.
It's a lot of S's. A lot of S's. I think though that Higgins is the guy.
Yeah, he's the 3. I think he's the clear 3.
I mean, he's done. He's played a lot.
He's got that connection with Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I would love to see like a story like a Shi Smith come and explode onto the scene where you all of a sudden ultimately find a diamond in the rough, who becomes kind of a star or something, and you didn't actually draft them to be that. That would be wonderful. But I would also like for the guys that we thought were going to be good to just be good. And that being Terrace, like, God, right now there's no reason that Terrace Marshall Jr. should be on the team over Shi Smith, though. And that sucks, dude. We need that size receiver. We don't have enough size. No. And that's Zylstra and Shi Smith are important pieces on this team. And Shi Smith, or Zylstra and Terrace Marshall Jr., are important pieces on this team. Shi Smith is just more of a duplication of talent, man. That's the problem. It's like DJ, is like we can't just put 3 DJ Moores out there when we get on the 5-yard line. We need some size.
Yeah, I honestly think that size is going to come from our tight ends, which they've been banged up. They need to get back to being healthy.
Bombs anyway. We ain't got no.
And we're going to need Terrace Marshall Jr. to do something. And, he did get called out by Matt Rule. These are always weird to me because it's like Matt Rule makes it sound like he's like not wanting to practice. Like, oh, he needs to practice. Well, like if you're hurt, you're hurt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like it's so hard to know.
All the time, though. Like sometimes the people are like that. Once they get that injury like thing, I mean, you just start to wonder.
Well, you wonder.
but
you wonder how committed they are, right? I mean, because you see
Samuel, bro. Curtis Samuel's always fucking hurt, dude.
Yeah, but here's the question that I think a lot of people are asking, because there's now starting to be this, like, you don't have the way that Matt Rule said it made you believe that this is Marshall's choice. Like Marshall's coming out and saying, I feel sore. I don't know if I can. Like, that's what you kind of get the vibe based on what Rule is saying.
I agree with that.
Now, I don't know. Like I said, we don't know what that really means. And if that's the case, I mean, you got to keep in mind, nobody, if you sit there and you talk to any former players, every single former player hates training camp. They hate it. Like, they hate it with a passion. Like, if you look at Pat McAfee, Darius Butler, all these, like, even, I'm talking about from the, Pat McAfee show, a lot of these former players come on there and talk about it. I would, like, if they said, if I come out of retirement, it's after training camp. I am not doing training camp. But I think that there is maybe a potential that it's just that. Maybe the dude's just like, you know what? I ain't going to risk getting hurt in preseason or these stupid practices. I know what my job is. I'm going to just, there is that potential, but we don't know.
To do that. And look, I understand vets saying they don't like training camp, but everybody likes the first day of school.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, kindergarten is fun to people that don't like school in the first week. It's like, I just can't believe that it's like that. I mean, like, if you're a 10-year vet, if you're Greg Olson and you got the foot and you're like, they get tired of shit. This mug ain't done jack. So, all right, the number's 252-228.
Hey, hold on. Before you go on to that next call, we got a donation from Marshall McGriff. He says,
Mark.
Yeah, he says Baker Mayfield giving me Drew Brees vibe from San Diego.
I made that comparison weeks ago. Yep. I made that comparison weeks ago. Remember, I said that. Yep.
Baker bottom, baby. Yep. Baker bottom.
And
that he goes by Mark, is what he said in the chat earlier. So,
all right, appreciate Mark. Shout out Mark.
Yeah, I agree.
And then CK got another new member.
Oh, well, hello there, Marcus. Welcome into the C3 Superfan Club. I just want to say thank you for your donation to the show, to the squad, and welcome in to the club.
What an incredible turnout. The inner circle growing and growing and growing and expanding. I'm just so blown away by the support. Again, you can support the show by just subbing up, being a part of the conversation, liking it. And I know this sounds like, I feel like I beg to ask people to thumbs up and share, but it's like one click to just share it on Facebook.
Yep.
Like to drop it in Reddit or to drop it on Twitter. And I tell you, I know it doesn't seem like that matters a lot, but it does. Like one person, I watch the subs grow on this show, and it's one sub at a time. That's it. It's one show, one member. And one of the great things about this is somebody said this is once you join C3, you're a lifer, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Man, the community. It's the community. And you in the chat room are the ones that make the show. You, the callers. I'm like the last on the list on this. My co-hosts make this. It's fantastic. So keep it up, guys. Let's go to the next call. The longest running Panthers podcast and the longest, literally, Panthers podcast.
What's up, C3? This is Raleigh Panther calling in tonight to say what's up. I'm going to keep it brief since I know y'all like to keep the pod moving. But got a question for you just to stir up the pot a little bit. I wanted to know, how much of an impact does the coach and coaching staff really make on a season? Can a great roster ultimately outplay the shortcomings of a head coach? I'd love to get that thoughts on that. Maybe even get your take on what the worst coach is to go on the deepest playoff run with the team. I think we got a really talented roster, and I'd like to think that even with Matt Rule being our weakest link, that we can find some success. But I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on that, and I hope y'all have a great night, man.
What a good question.
Fantastic.
Question. How much does the coach truly matter? And we hear coaches all the time say, this is a talent-based league. The players, you have to have talent. It's a conundrum, isn't it? This is a weird equation to crack right here. It's like we need Newton or we need Einstein here to figure out the E and the MC squared stuff, because clearly you have to have talent to win, but clearly bad or subpar or average coaches can hinder you, or at least great coaches can bring you over the top, right? Andy Reid wins everywhere he goes. It seems like Sean Payton and them reloaded all the time. Now, some of these guys had quarterbacks, but I would say Kyle Shanahan to me right now is the one to look at. Kyle Shanahan has won everywhere he's gone. He's got RG3 to the Pro Bowl. He went and took Matt Ryan to a Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo, right, to a Super Bowl. That to me is a guy who's won without a quarterback. So you don't know. It's easy when you're like, hey, it's Belichick and Brady. But Shanahan and Garoppolo, that's something to it, man. That guy's a genius. So what do you guys think is how much does the coach, and then you apply this to the Panthers, because I have a joke to make about it at the end.
So, I think looking back, so for example, if you were to ask me my opinion on, say, Mike McCarthy, I wouldn't tell you that he's the greatest.
He won a Super Bowl.
But that's my point, is that, he was fired from the Green Bay Packers. He's now the head coach of the Cowboys. But I do think there are many times in history where an overcoach has kind of been overcome by a better team. White Chocolate mentioned Gruden. A lot of people loved him for a certain amount of time, but now people don't view him anywhere near the way they used to.
Kubiak? Gary Kubiak?
Kubiak. There's been a few. So I don't think it's impossible. I do think that we're going to have, if we're going to overcome any kind of ineptitude from Matt Rule, it's going to be on Ben McAdoo and James Campen to really hone in this offense, get them firing on all cylinders.
McAdoo.
and our defense needs to play as good or better than they did last year.
Right.
Because the only way the Panthers are going to be that kind of team, we have to get back to being the most dominant defense in the NFC South. If the Panthers defense cannot do that, then I don't see too many scenarios, honestly, where our offense is able to elevate over who we believe Matt Rule to be.
It's probably to the effect of it's great coaches can get you wins. Like they can give you an advantage, right? Bill Belichick can give you an advantage, particularly on the defense. He knows how to take away what you do best. It's like crazy. He'll be like, dude, you beat us this way. Kyle Shanahan, Sean Payton, right? These guys, Andy Reid, and I know there's some that I'm missing. These guys can make you better. Like they account for maybe 1 or 2 wins on their own just by their sheer power and will. But maybe the head coach you don't win because of a good coach, but it's hard to win in spite of a bad coach, right? Is because, and maybe this is like Ron Rivera, John Fox, they glue these kind of tough guys. Like they bring teams together. So like having it would be hard to have a talented roster with a bad coach, like a not very good one, and still keep it together. They have to be at the least competent. Now, I have a wild take that people got mad at me.
Mad at you?
Yeah, I was on Pirate Radio. My friends they got so pissed at me when I said this. But this was when we were in the hunt for Deshaun Watson. And I said, my fear was that we go and get Deshaun Watson and we win 11 games. And they were like, what? And I say, because this was at the point where I was at a supreme Matt Rule hate. I had not gone through my Matt Rule forgiveness mode yet. And I did not want a guy to save Matt Rule's job unnecessarily. You know what I'm saying? Like you won, but it's not because of Matt Rule. It was because you went and got something, that like, and he just happened to be along for the ride. I know, and they got so mad at me. They were like, you won 11 wins? I was like, no, because that means Matt Rule's going to be our coach for another year.
But isn't that the same thing with Baker? If you're that out on Matt Rule, that 11 wins under Deshaun.
It was how much we were going to give up for Deshaun Watson and this and that. I think I'm kind of, maybe a little bit, but I can't right now. I just want to win. I've given up on that. And I'm just so glad we didn't go after Deshaun now. Like in retrospect, we just missed. Like, I don't know. Like, do you want to win? What happens if you win 10 games and it turns out that Baker hits free agency, you don't sign him, and then we just are in the dumpster again and we're stuck with Matt Rule? I don't know.
Dude, do you know what I say about what ifs? Okay?
Ifs and buts.
I mean, hey, dude, it's like, I really don't think that it's possible to have a bad offense and a bad coach. So this offense is really going to be the determining factor.
Oh, you mean and do well?
No, like if we're going to, so what the question asks, if we're going to overcome a bad head coach, which I believe
you can have great coordinators. You could have great coordinators. That's how you.
So that's what I'm saying. Like our offense, especially compared to the last 2 seasons, we're going to have to see a really big jump forward. And by the way, I want to say something. If Matt Rule does get fired this year and Christian McCaffrey does get hurt again, everyone's going to say, oh, well, it's only because Christian got hurt every year. There's going to be a lot of people saying that.
But we didn't, but the thing is we didn't give that same benefit to a guy who in Ron Rivera had gotten us to 3 playoff appearances in a row that never happened for us. A 4th 2 years later, Cam Newton was hurt, and we said, "Fuck Ron Rivera, get him out of there."
Yeah, that Christian McCaffrey excuse is worn its welcome.
Yeah,
it's time this is such a, like you said, it's a prove it season for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And really, this season redirects the narrative on Christian McCaffrey. If he gets hurt this year, then the injury-prone narrative wins. It's right.
Right.
If he doesn't get hurt and he's successful this year, then the injury-prone narrative is overblown. But nobody is going to go, this is because we would have been good if we had Christian McCaffrey. No, that's not enough. You've already cashed that check twice.
Can I ask a question? The bedrock of this topic is combinations with coaches and players and how well one can overcome the other as far as one being good, one being bad, kind of?
Yeah. Can you overcome a average or below average coach with a good roster?
I think it works both ways, though, because like I heard a story today that Tom Brady was supposed to go to the Las Vegas Raiders, that he had the deal almost signed. He was looking for houses there, and Gruden X'd it because great coach, great player. So like, can that work against you as well? Having, two really alpha males there? Do you need one to be the alpha and one to kind of ride the coattails, or can you have two alphas? Is my question, because we're talking about one holding the other down as far as being bad, but does that work the other way with them both being elite?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of different moving pieces to that. If you have an elite quarterback, it can change everything. But again, we're still asking that question. We don't really know if we do or not. So,
actually, now I think about it, my question is kind of pointless because we don't have an elite quarterback or an elite coach.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm looking at the other side of the coin for no reason.
You're actually you're not talking about who's alpha. It's just more spotlight, like who wants laurels. And maybe you saw some of the problems with that hit New England with Tom Brady and Belichick eventually. All right, let's go to the next call.
Hey, guys. It's the girl that makes him howl, a.k.a. Joey the Blind Panther. And I got a question for y'all. So, actually, it's not much of a question. Sorry about that. It's a statement. I think this quarterback competition shows us that Matt Rule is still Matt Rule. That being said, I'm still optimistic for this season because of our coaching staff, because of Ben McAdoo, James Campen, Chris Tabor, who's really has been looking like the best one at preseason, because that special teams play was pretty good last week. That was the best part of last week. That aside from Tay Hayes' pick six, that was lit. Deuce Booger got signed from USFL, App State Warrior. Love that area. Gets himself a pick six. But he probably still won't make the team because Matt Rule is nepotistic. That's a word. I think it is. But if it's not, I don't give a fuck.
We know what you meant.
But I think
Girl,
Matt
what's
Rule
your
is still
number?
Matt Rule. I think if we win, but the question I had was this. If we have another shitty season, is this going to be something that they look back on and it comes back to bite Matt Rule in the ass? I think it should. I don't know if it will because David Tepper is our owner and David Tepper's an idiot. Anyway, guys, that's my question / statement, and I'll let you hear what you listen to the end of this call for. Wow, wow, wow.
And I'll point out there, I believe that's cronyism.
Oh, what's that?
Instead of nepotism, nepotism is family. Cronyism is when you're just picking a friend or somebody you like. So, but big time cronyism.
Yeah, so tremendous support tonight. CK, I just checked the YouTubes. Rockhead, have we done Rockhead 81?
Yes. Well, a couple of them I had gifted the memberships to.
Okay. Oh, excellent. So that's when you give. Explain that to me. It's
basically, do you have the chat up?
I have no. I've got it in the StreamYard.
So if you look at the YouTube chat on desktop or on your phone, there's a little $sign where you can do the super chat and the super sticker. Right. Well, now it should say membership gifting as well. So you can
a membership to a friend.
Anybody, you could do like 50 memberships for $100, and that would give 50 memberships to 50 random people in the chat.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's cool. Nice. All right, let's go to the next call.
Good evening, C3 Panthers Podcast.
Good evening. I love that.
A couple of weeks ago, I called in order to address the true quarterback controversy in Carolina. That being, who is the most handsome quarterback out of Matt Corral, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield. And looks like you all owe our boy Baker an apology now that Sam is out, now that Matt is out. The true handsome man, Baker Mayfield, can receive his justice as the hottest Panther in the QB room. So say sorry to your boy. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
I apologize to someone about that when I call myself a Baker bottom.
Fair point.
Is he really that handsome? Like, I don't know.
You know what? I think he's like one of those, like you're not the traditional, like you're not like the greatest looking person, but you're good looking, and he's got a gap.
He's not pretty handsome.
Right.
Yeah, he's got like a gap. So he's kind of got like he's unique. He's like Jennifer Garner from Dirty.
He's like, but this call makes me uncomfortable. Hey, dude, we're allowed to talk about handsome men, you know.
I mean,
and I'm so comfortable in my sexuality, and like I ain't worried about that. I'm more worried about my marriage working, dude. The next call is 252-228-5098.
Oh yeah, my name's Aaron. I figured I asked this question. We I see we have the talent on offense, and I know we got the talent on defense. But do you really think that we are able to go to the playoffs? Like, what is our high and what is our low? Just figured we asked that. Anyways, keep pounding.
Y'all gotta tell you, I didn't even get it. What is his name?
He's asking what if we really think we can make the playoffs. Like what are our chances?
Oh, CK, did you run your simulation?
No, not yet. I was gonna wait until
we're gonna do it before the season.
Oh, okay. Playoffs.
Possible.
You know what is that? Ultimately, I think this is like we're one of those teams that can be good, mediocre, or bad. And maybe that's every team in the NFL, but there's a chance. Look, I know people say this is that so many teams last year backed into the playoffs with like a 9-8, like record. Don't let last year dictate how this year is going to be. There could be a chance, it could take 11 wins to get in. Or it could be that 8-9 win season.
Right.
Are we going to win the division? That's the first question. And
that's a good question.
It's not impossible, right? It's like everybody is just saying that the Bucs are going to be great. And they should win it. The Bucs should win it. We're third in line right now.
Okay.
It's Bucs, Saints, Panthers, and then maybe even Panthers, Falcons even. But that doesn't mean. You remember the NFC South? How many times it flipped for so long?
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible to win the division. I don't think it's likely.
We were the first back-to-back ones, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to next week. We're gonna go through it again and do our predictions. I want to do
a lot of predictions next week. Yes.
Yeah, we really need to do a lot.
So I'll save it for next week. Yeah.
Next week. But before we go any further, CK, we've got another new member, man, and he said just call this man by his first name.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Them and they. We have one new member of the C3 Superfan family. Algernon, welcome into the squad, the club, the elite group of humans who have decided to support the show. Thank you so much for the support. Again, welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. Guys, you have our promise. We're going to have more emojis on the way. Right now, there's only 4. I
Hammer
promise
emoji?
you, it's my mission in life
Yep.
to get a bunch of kick-ass emojis so that way we really have a legit fan community and people can get jealous, man. They'll say, hey, how do I get these dope-ass C3 emojis to be dropping in the chat room?
This was a great suggestion, a keep pounding drum.
Oh, we have to.
Good one.
We
gotta
have
keep
to.
that. So that one's great. We've got the ice cubes. We've got the Baker bottom, right? And what was the other one we got? Oh, the hill.
Yeah, we got the hill. Die on this hill, baby.
He lives and dies. He lives and dies on the hill. I love it. So, all right, let's go to the other thing is thinking about like the wild card, and then you just got to start thinking about what the NFC is going to look like. Now, that's actually an interesting one because the NFC North really doesn't look fantastic with the Vikings, the Packers, the Lions, right? The East, you got Dallas and Philly, man. Philly's good. Like, they're going to be the dogs this year.
Philly might be all right this year. I don't know. Though.
Yeah, I think they're going to be. That's the team that I think to watch out for. So we'll see. We'll see. But wild card is what you shoot for. And that's going to be hard. You got to win. You got to win. We got to get to above 500. Next call.
Yeah. Winning season. Yes.
Oh yeah. My name's Aaron. I figured I asked this question. We I see we have the talent on offense, and I know we have the talent on defense.
Same one. All right, sorry.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
You know who this is?
Oh, shit.
Like chocolate espresso,
It's that boy.
a.k.a. the newest member of the C3 Superfan Club. The question we all is,
son.
do we trade Terrence Marshall? I've been hearing a lot. That's all I've been hearing. We should trade him. Some people say we can get a third and a fourth. I don't see how the hell that happens.
No.
Knowing that I think his name was Harry for the Patriots, drafted a year before Marshall, was our first round pick. We went to the Bears for a 7th, and he actually played in games. So I don't know how the hell y'all expect to get a third and fourth or fifth, or even a 6th.
You ain't getting shit for it.
But that's my question. I am white chocolate espresso, and I am out.
My bastard son. Man, we ain't getting shit for him. That's it. Like, and
not even a 7th.
It doesn't. It's like this. It's like having a stock. All right, so I have this little stock account that I put like $2,000 in 2015, and I just play it kind of like I wanted to play like a fantasy football, but not like I was trying to learn and do stuff, but I didn't want it to just be like fake money entirely, because then you don't play it the right way. You do ridiculous shit, and you're like, and then it's like playing poker without money versus money. You play different ways. But I tried to. It was like in the back end of the Trump time. I was like, man, this economy is cooking so much. It's time for a retraction. Like, and I don't care about the politics or nothing. It's just like it felt like it's running so hot, like it's got to pull back. So I tried to bet a little on what I believe are recession stocks, oil and gold. And this was mainly just oil. I bought these 2 stupid oil companies. They weren't even really oil. It turned out to be more natural gas. It was dumb. But then the economy just smoked for like 2 more years. And these stocks just fucking lost. Mm-hmm. But you know what I did? I just kept them. I didn't sell them. You know what I'm saying? It's just like this. Is like if you sell, you lose. So if we sell Terrace Marshall Jr. for a 6, we lose. It's better. We have too much sunk cost in him, I think. Mm-hmm. It's just better to see if he works out somehow than to try to get a 7th. Who gives a shit? Like, what a 7th? When's the last time a 7th did anything for anybody? We just cut our last 7th. Is like, I just wanted him to work. So I think it's just like this, is that maybe we bought his stock like I bought that oil stock, and maybe it comes back, or maybe it's a loss. And by the time it's a loss, then it's a loss. that make sense?
No, totally makes sense. It's a great analogy.
I think it's far too early to give up on Terrace Marshall Jr.
Definitely.
Again, I know he's hurt, but I mean, some guys just need time. If it ends up being the thing, no one's going to trade for him anyway. So you might as well just hold on to it.
Right.
Hope that it can turn out. And by the way, our luck, he's going to go to some other team and put up like 1,000 yards every year, dude. So, no, I'm not really with it. And hey, by the way, real quick, shout out to our man Mark for the $2. He said, is anyone talking about Brady? No call, no show training camp. There's been a lot around Tom Brady going around, him almost going to the Raiders because of Dana White. Gronk revealed that on a podcast of all places, on a watch along that the UFC was doing.
And they were
tampered. He called out.
Miami.
He was going to be what's that show? The Masked Singer or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, a lot of people were rumored about that. I don't know, man. I think they don't need to worry about Tom Brady. They need to worry about the offensive linemen that are going to protect him because they continue to have problems on that O-line.
Joey the Blind Panther said, I wish they had a way you could play NFL teams like the stock market. There actually is, and they've tried to do some advertisement with us, but and when I say advertisement partnership, like the affiliates, it's a hard road to hoe if you're just like trying to get people. But you can you buy players and their stock goes up and stock goes down. I just don't know how popular it's ultimately going to be. I'm not going to endorse a product. I won't say I won't. I mean, look, I'm a fucking hoe. I will endorse products if you want to.
We know you.
I didn't for pennies and for something I don't love, didn't think was fantastic. And I didn't. I mean, I was like, I just don't think it would be wildly popular. I didn't want to devote too much, but it's called Symbol, SIMBULL. So you can go check that out, and you can buy players and sell players and teams and stuff like that when they're. So you buy basically if you would have bought the Bengals last year before and then you sell them this year, but people always got to be playing too. So I don't know how. I'll be interested to see if it works. They've been doing some marketing and stuff around. All right, next call.
Yeah, it's me, C-Dog. I was calling in, man. Long. Just got home from work, but real quick, man, make sure when you come in here, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe.
My man.
And with that being said, it's a Tuesday, a lovely Tuesday as always. You boys are doing a great show as always, like on Tuesday. But real quick, man, I'm gonna say what I've been saying. A real quick shout out to goddamn G-Baby the motherfucking GOAT. You know what I'm saying? But real quick, man, I don't see us winning 10 games. Look, we're not gonna win nothing, but what we've been winning is 5 games, which is Matt Rule's average. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just ready to go ahead and get this shit started so everybody can come back to motherfucking reality. You know what I'm saying? Week one against the Cleveland Browns, I predict that Myles Garrett would get 3 sacks, a forced fumble. I mean, who knows? I'm pretty sure he would love to hit Baker Mayfield and the other players in that defense, But if we can't stop the run week one, it would be a long day. And if you cannot block, if our offensive linemen don't come to play, it would be a long day. But I'm just happy, man. I want this shit to go ahead and get started in week one after the Browns come to Charlotte and bring us back down to reality. I want to hear what everybody has to say there. I can't wait to see Skip Bayless on goddamn Undisputed when Baker Mayfield falls on his fucking face. Because nobody talks about Baker Mayfield except motherfucking Skip Bayless. Everybody else said they don't even see us making the playoffs with him, So it is what it is. I'm just ready to get the year over with, see who the new coach is going to be next season, and maybe get another quarterback. Who knows, With that being said, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even cuss this time,
I know.
Next time, I
felt weird.
If y'all got them, hit the like button or subscribe. But great show as always. C3 Podcast. keep doing good shit, and everybody have a great fucking night. Keep fucking pounding.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, now it's a Sea Dog call. Look, man, we don't listen here at the C3 Podcast. We do not stifle or depress any positions that you might have. You can be super optimistic about this season, or you can feel like this is a flaming dumpster rolling down a hill made of turds. And you're allowed to think that too, man. A lot of people think that we're doomed with Matt Rule as our head coach and with Baker Mayfield as the quarterback. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to shut people like C-Dog or G-Baby or even my ass, if you're going to shut us up, the Panthers really need to do something this year. Mm-hmm. It's not because we don't love our team. It's because we want the best for our team, and we're tired of this year after year mediocrity bullshit and even less than mediocre. We need something better, and it needs to happen now.
I will say, okay, just because you brought up Skip Bayless in this, and I love that show. Look, like the point of that show is one is heart and one is head. Okay, so you can. I hate the way Skip Bayless debates sometimes, and I hate a lot of things he says, and he is wrong sometimes. But if you really want to go back and look at things, just if you like that show, look at the Mountain Dew bets and stack those up, and then tell me Skip Bayless is wrong most of the time, because most of the time when he bets on something, he's right. I'm just saying that show is heart versus head, and it's meant to be entertainment. You know, one person saying what you want to hear, and one person saying what might be the reality of it. So
I don't know, man. Skip is
it can be outlandish sometimes, but I'm just saying
it makes Colin Cowherd feel like Sunday lunch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Colin Cowherd. So Skip Bayless is C-Dog cursing, and Colin Cowherd is C-Dog not cursing.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's like I don't like Skip, man.
I mean, I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I don't like.
He just says
I'm always on Shannon's side. Yeah.
You know who I actually like? Who maybe I won't say like. There's two of them, and they both used to work together for a minute. And they got in a fight in the first month of the money. Jason Whitlock, and then the guy who used to outkick the coverage.
Marcellus Wiley.
No, outkick the coverage guy. Now he's like he's a former lawyer.
Clay Travis.
Clay Travis. Like those, I like. I mean, Clay Travis is a dude that he makes a lot of people mad. Jason Whitlock makes everybody mad, but he's actually stupid. What a brilliant writer, such a good writer. But he will fucking make you.
After like 2016 and 17,
he's picking on LeBron's kid now, and shit. It's just like, come on.
After 2016 and 17, I just stopped watching any of those shows.
It's the last time anybody watched ESPN.
Like Undisputed,
Fox is way better than
First
ESPN.
Take.
No,
No. Honestly, you know how I see most of them? They pop up on my YouTube. Like channels will take clips of shit that they say and they'll post them on YouTube. I'll check them out there sometime, but I rarely ever go and listen to them.
I honestly
That's what they're there for.
watched less than 5 minutes of Skip Bayless since he went to Fox. That's how long it's been.
Right.
Like I
on
cannot remember the last time. Like I just don't get those are the people that and it's not even me just hating. Like I just choose to get different shit.
I get that.
You know, like I get my shit on the like this. Like
yeah.
I watch, like I listen to podcasts. I watch shows. Like for me, I'd spend my time watching Pat McAfee before I watch that.
For sure.
I mean,
can I say
that's the best one to me?
I'll be vulnerable here. I've never listened to a Pat McAfee show.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Not one time.
Oh, dude, it's so easy too. It's not.
Well, I know it's easy. I just never have, not one time. And it's not that I have anything against it.
Like cussing,
and it's all football.
About
that's the other thing that's cool about it is it's like 98% football with the spread. They're like, we have to not be just football, so now we're going to do wrestling. Well, I mean, now Pat McAfee is like a super wrestler. Like he's in that shit. But it's like I do like football heavy shows.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't want to talk about NASCAR.
Oh, dude, anytime I hear them talking about the NBA, I'm out, bro.
I love the NBA, so that's why that show works for me so well. It's either NBA or football.
Right.
See, my sports need violence. It needs football, or I need two men beating the shit out of each other.
Before we go to the next call, what about that fight, dude?
Oh yeah, you know. Oh, dude.
I heard my boy was telling me that the dude was just working him and owning him, and then
he got caught.
He was catching his kicks. He was doing everything, and he just went low, and that kick went high, and night.
Kamaru Usman, he was breaking a bunch of records at welterweight, was handily beating a guy named Leon Edwards from the UK. I mean, he was winning hands down. He was en route to a unanimous decision victory. And then the final round, Leon Edwards throws a left high kick. Boom! Connects right to the head. Puts him unconscious. Brand new welterweight champion. See, that's what I need in my sport. I need the threat of a man knocking the shit out of another man until his consciousness flies by.
You need to become a hockey fan then.
Yes. You know something, Cody? I'm with you on that.
Our mission should be to make.
But here's my thing with hockey, though. The violence isn't the point of it. The point is to put the puck into the net.
Right.
Well, that's the point of the NFL is to put the ball across the football.
Yeah, but the tackling is the main part, man.
Look,
I'm not a big hockey fan.
Just as physical, if not
especially
more.
when they fight in the middle of the ice. It's like, dude, either fight or don't fight. You know what I'm saying? Either be a fighter, either be a professional fighter.
Oh, stop.
Or don't throw punches in the middle of the fucking ice.
I'm with Algernon. Boxing is better.
Boxing is great. Look, I love boxing. I love UFC, and I love those kind of sports. But here's the thing, Cody, is my problem with it is I have the same problem with soccer. Every time I take the time to watch it, what's supposed to be great, it ends up being a 0-0 tie like in soccer, or it's a decision at the end, and the fight was good, but I want to see a damn knockout, and I never get that whenever maybe it's just bad timing for me. Every time I watch something like this, I never get that. It's always a decision.
We need to watch some fights together then. So look, this year, I'm going to invite you up to my house for a pay-per-view, and we're going to fucking watch some fights, dude. It's going to be incredible.
I just we just have to find a way to get, it's kind of like me, this is for NASCAR. I know this is a bad analogy because boxing and MMA are, to me, so much cooler. I like boxing. I like the sweet sides. I love that sport. But it's hard to know the background. You don't meet the people until they're just fighting. Right. So I don't know who is coming up and who is that's the hard part is getting to know the sport in the background. And you're just watching the fight. And you're like, oh, well, this is this. I've never even heard of these undercard guys. It's a great thing. I want to watch it. But I'm who? I don't know how to pick someone to root for and cheer for. But I was telling somebody these guys were going crazy. I was at the bar one day and they were going over this NASCAR shit. And it was just how do you know if they're doing well or not? It's oh, look at that pit stop. I don't know what to look for to be because they're all just, nobody's pet, it's just oh, wow, man, really great move. I could be fantastic catch in football. I don't know what to say in NASCAR. Yeah. It's I don't know. Downshifts. I can't tell. It's I don't know. Anyway.
The points is weird. Because the NASCAR uses points.
Yeah, it goes how many laps you led and stuff like that.
I think that made it cooler is because if you're in the 11th spot, you didn't win the race, but you finished in the top 10 in 50 or 20 races, so that makes you you're always there. Yeah, it used to be, I think, you had to win races to win. I don't know. I don't really give a shit about that.
Well, it's just like in football, you're pushing yourself to a playoff. Basically, you're playing for points to be the top teams, like a playoff team, and then you have a championship. It's similar, but it's just a point system instead of wins losses.
And by the way, just to prove to y'all how much of a diehard MMA fan I am, when I was in college, I got to interview Dana White, and I got to meet Joe Rogan and stuff. That's me and Joe Rogan, uptown Charlotte at the
Baby Cody.
Strike City Bowling. Yeah, my short hair. I've got some other pictures. I have a video somewhere of me and Dana White
listening to Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, he's my favorite.
Should. Yeah.
I watch his shorts on YouTube, but like
He's awesome.
I like him. Like yeah, I'm with y'all. All right, next call.
What's happening, C3? I really do appreciate all you guys do. I am really hoping that Rule will settle down and make a decision for himself and get us some starters that will gel.
Bruce Buffer.
It's just a joke with his college antics. Really tired of it. But, we'll probably have it for at least another year. Anyways, I'm really, really, really anxious to see Baker come out there with the ones on this next preseason. I am really hoping that they will at least do a series and, not show our cards, but just show that they're gelling. I'd like to see that. Anyways, that's really all I have to say tonight. Keep pounding. Y'all take it easy.
Keep pounding.
Man, thank you so much for the support, man. The support tonight has been incredible. And first of all, it's incredible each and every week. People showing up. But we're at like 250. And I know that, some other channels might do bigger numbers or whatever. But to me, man, 250 people on their Tuesday night coming here. And these are like the same people. Mm-hmm. Is that these people are hanging out with. Do you see how many green tags are in the chat?
Yeah.
That's like the chat is pumping and people are part of it. This is y'all show. The number's 252-228-5098. That was the last call for the night.
Oh,
so you can continue to call in. We're going to do Cody. I'm going to have to get Cody to get back. You better put your debate skills on. We got to get back at it. And then the preseason. We got a preseason game coming up this Friday again.
Yeah, another Friday. Another Friday show.
What time is it at? What time is it at? So can we watch? I think
the same time.
Crash Greg's podcast.
Maybe so. I think so.
I might just save the House of Dragon talk for the end of my show every week, just in case people want to hop on and Cody want to hop on and talk about that. So,
dude, I need some way to talk about House of the Dragon.
Okay,
dude, I'm so fucking pumped for this show, and the first one was incredible.
Yeah, it was. Why didn't nobody tell me about this Game of Thrones show beforehand? Goodness gracious.
Dude, and it's the perfect jump on point because if you have never seen Game of Thrones, it literally doesn't matter less. It's a prequel. It's over 100 years.
Quite honestly, it might be a better thing that you don't, and you can watch this first, and then almost have a better history of the universe of Game of Thrones.
Right.
I am binging again, so I think that the Game of Thrones love is overrated.
I think I would agree with that for the final season.
Yeah, the final 3 seasons for sure. They didn't have the book. They didn't have the books anymore.
Yeah, it caught up with the books, and they were writing stuff themselves. So
this is odd. I know nobody's going to believe this because everybody wants to be like, "Oh, I was first to the party," but I watched the first episode and the first season of Game of Thrones before it became like blow up. I was like, "Oh, I'm in love with Daenerys right away." Psh, done. You know what I'm saying? And then, because that was the top viewed show in HBO history, I think.
Oh, it's the biggest show maybe of all time.
So I've read the first 2 books. I think
it's up there. If it's not the first one,
it's probably up there. Yeah.
Here's my hot take, though. It's a good show. It's interesting. It's good. But I do think that they lure us in with naked dime pieces all over
Oh,
the place.
100%.
What
Like
HBO does.
Yes.
Yeah, but like
it's
here's
HBO.
the thing
Yeah.
is like they're all 12s. Like I'm like, good God. I mean, I can't. I mean, from the what's the red bit, the red
Melisandre, the red
Melisandre
faces.
to the girl that becomes the next queen after. Like, I mean, it's just like banging shit. It's like 12. There's a show if you like that, which I do. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, dude, is this show really that good, or I just love how good everybody looks in it? Go back and watch Spartacus.
Hell
God.
yes.
Oh my God,
Hell
dude.
yes.
So I love that show, dude. I thought
Manu Bennett.
Like, it
Hell
was
yeah.
badass. Such a badass. It was like 300 meets.
He died before the end of filming that. The guy that played
the guy Andy, I can't remember what his name. The guy who played the original Spartacus did. Yeah, that's why they did the prequel. The second season was because they were waiting for him to get through his chemotherapy, but he ended up.
So I watched that show. This was back. I mean, this is back before you streamed. Maybe I DVR'd it or something like
12
that.
years ago. Yeah,
I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah,
and I thought my wife and I we kind of. Like we like to watch shows together. Like I think a lot of couples do. It's like we have shows we watch together and we shows we watch on our own. Like you need to wait for one person or what. So I watched this. I was like, you might like this. I was like, will you watch this? I've already watched the first 2 episodes. Will you watch? You watch the first episode with me. She's like, I don't like this shit. And she goes, but I see why you like it. All they do is fucking kill people.
Like, she didn't like the fact like that. Listen.
That shit was so good, dude.
There is nothing that'll make you more insecure as a man than watching Spartacus, though.
Yeah.
Like every single one of them dudes is just like gods, bro.
Yeah,
swinging down to the floor too. Lots of penis in Spartacus, dude.
Yeah.
They don't mind showing you
men and
too, man.
But that was the thing is like it appeals, it caters to those base. I think Game of Thrones, I mean, just dime pieces everywhere, dude.
Right.
But Tony,
Like-
if you get past just like the initial, okay, all that shit is meant to suck you in. And be like, oh, there's tits. Oh, they're hot. Oh, there's dragons. Oh, but once you stay and like once you
I'm watching
continue
already.
about the show,
I'm re-binging it.
it's absolutely incredible. And George R.R. Martin, the author behind the books, that's my favorite author. That guy is an absolute fantasy genius. The world that he's created. Like, I'm one of those dudes. I'm a book nerd. I've read all the books more than once. I've got the Fire and Blood book that the new show is based on. I've got the World of Ice and Fire book. Dude, I'm in. You know, like this. I love this shit. It's incredible.
Do you know why you're a
cool? Be awesome.
Do you know why you're a cool nerd, Cody? Because you just associated tits and dragons in the same sentence and about how cool it was, and they excite you. Dude. I was like, okay, that's my guy right there.
I mean, that is the best endorsement.
I will suck it,
dude. The best endorsement for Game of Thrones is, tits and dragons. Comes some tits and dragons.
I mean, it's a good story. It's not the great. And do you remember when we did debate on my take for the worst villain?
Yeah.
Do you remember like the worst TV villain? And some of the options were who's the kid, the fucking bratty ass.
Joffrey,
what a whiny bitch. I just feel like I don't think he can be the worst person when every one of us feels like we could just beat the fuck out of him. You know, it's like, dude, I almost want to say this. It's like, you get my tongue out, motherfucker. Try it. Sit down. Let this little bitch come over here and do it. But the real guy, the fucking nastiest motherfucker is that dude who takes over Winterfell and then cuts off Longjoy.
Ramsay Bolton. Yeah.
Look, that guy.
Ramsay Bolton's crazy.
He's the worst. I still think Walter White's the worst bad guy in the history of TV.
But I don't even confuse him. He's like an anti-hero.
Yeah, he is. He's a bad guy, dude. All right, so I was going to bring that up, and if I was going to say, here, other hot take about Game of Thrones. Episode 9 of every season is the best.
Yeah. Oh, but it's by design that way.
It's like, man, I was like, I wish this was the season finale. And then you're like,
no,
oh, God.
episode 9 every year is like the big shebang episode, and then 10 wraps it all up.
See,
but by the way, everyone needs to be watching House of the Dragon.
Yes, you do.
I'm going to finish
checking out the reviews on Geeks Chasing Squirrels every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard.
We got to ice some people up, and then we'll get out of here. What do we got left? That's it. We've done all the topics. We've done the cat calls. Let's ice some fools up.
That's it.
I'm sorry, guys. I know you were like, oh, this show might end early. I was like, no, let's talk about fucking Game of Thrones for 25 minutes.
Dude, I'm down. When am I not down to talk about Game of Thrones and UFC?
Like I said, I started watching season 1. Like I started on episode 1 on Friday morning. I'm already into, I think I just started season 4. Like I just been binging. Like I would have liked, you know what is another thing, if I could make a couple of suggestions about the show, I would have liked more of the who is the Daenerys, the people that she was, the horse people she was with?
The Dothraki.
I wish they would have stuck around a little longer. I like the Dothraki. Those motherfuckers were they're badass. They're like, make this bitch eat. He was like this. He watched her eat that whole heart. He was like, oh, I want to fuck you.
But dude, if the final moment of the first season of Game of Thrones doesn't give you goosebumps, you don't have a soul. Like, dude, that when she finally brings the dragons, spoiler alert, back into the world.
It's the wedding party one. And that is season 3, I think.
Yeah, that's the big one that got everyone talking.
Well, look, I'm telling y'all, you sound like you're into this. I will save the review for House of the Dragon for the end of every show, because last week there was definitely an influx of, I could tell whenever C3 ended, the post-game show ended, because I had a flood of people come into my chat room, and I was like, okay, cool. So we'll save that for the end.
Your podcast this week. And then when you guys get done with the House of Dragon, can we request the Spartacus rewatch?
I will definitely do a Spartacus rewatch and review with you. Yes, I will make that a show, because I haven't seen that show in years. Just season 1, though.
And it holds up.
After season 1, it went to crap.
No.
Yeah, it really did. Season 2 was okay, but after that, it was just, ugh.
The season where they had to recast, that's when it was like, I just lost.
No, it was great, dude. I thought they pulled it off.
Nah, I didn't like. I fell off after season 2.
On your stuff. All right, all right. Let's ice some people up, Cody.
Yep, it's that time.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's the longest running segment on the longest running podcast, Panthers Podcast. Think about that. The longest running segment on the longest running Panthers Podcast, which is literally the longest podcast that could possibly be of Panthers Podcast. We are 2.5 hours in, and we just getting started. You want to talk about all right. No, the ice up segment, ice up, toughen up, get it together. It's our homage to Steve Smith, who has been doing pre-games. He actually called Sam Darnold a librarian in this last game. He said, we need Baker Mayfield. Sam Darnold's a librarian and put you to sleep. This is our homage to the master of shit talkers. He is for your Game of Thrones reference, he's a maester of shit talking. He's got rings for days when it comes to shit talking, and that is Steve Smith. He's always told it true, tells you what's on his heart, and that's what the ice up segment is about. It's where we can delve into any topic: football, life, politics, personal, general, ridiculous. We can ice up anybody we want, including 12-year-old kids in Oklahoma who you've never met, which I have done on this podcast. So you know what? Everybody's fair game. The Ice Up segment is where we tell someone to toughen up, to ice up sun, to get it together. Who would like to go first?
So I'll go first because mine's kind of short and sweet. Before we go, to anyone who thinks that we were just doing nerd talk right there, if you're a football fan and you love football, how are you not a nerd? You're nerding out over football. What's the difference between nerding out over a show and nerding out over sports? I mean, come on, dude. We're all nerds here. Whether you want to admit you are or not, everyone here is a big-ass nerd. But you want to know what the dumbest thing that you can actually do is? It's not being a nerd. It's not watching the C3 Panthers podcast, although that is pretty stupid. But nope, don't fall asleep at the job, dude.
Oh, on the forklift, tired. Oh, that sucks.
Oh,
here it keeps going. Damn, Jeff Bezos is on the way.
Holy crap. What did you hit? Like, what structure did you hit that
dude,
caused that?
I'll let it play. He just dozes off. Boom. Like, oh, shit.
Dude,
Dude,
he get away?
If he wouldn't have ran away in time, that could have been bad.
Oh,
I think he might be pretty effed up anyway.
Yeah, I was like, he got hit by that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so to that gentleman, maybe get some rest or something, dude. I don't know, man.
He's resting.
Yeah, he's resting at home.
My advice is to not fall asleep on the job, but to go to sleep on the job. So he fell asleep by accident. If he would have found a nice place to take a nap and he went to sleep, he would have been fine.
Nice up.
All right, who's next? Nobody? You don't got nothing?
I've got one. I'll go.
All right.
So, okay, I feel like a lot of times politics is low-hanging fruit, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, okay, and I want to first establish, because there was some talk about this in the chat room earlier. I think Locke's Main was who was talking about this. The free Brittany Griner stuff. Like, I am completely for her being free. So let's not get confused about what I'm icing up here. I'm completely for this. What I'm icing up is the vice president, okay, who makes continuous efforts to get her out, which I believe is correct, but doesn't do that for other people, okay, because there are other people who have been in this exact same situation who there's been no fighting for. Not to mention you're a vice president who, whenever you were in California, prosecuted almost 2,000 people for possession of marijuana and have admitted that you smoked and laughed about it. So you're as hypocritical as you can possibly be. And I can't stand seeing this in politics. Instead of trying to free somebody from another country who broke their laws in another country, why don't you work on freeing people in America for the exact same thing you put them away for? So, to the vice president, ice up.
Okay, nicely done. Way to really bring that around back home. CK, you got anything for us?
Mine's going to be basically, I got into a little Twitter dispute with somebody, and it was, you guys know I'm not one that normally gets in disputes on Twitter about stuff like this, but I was, very logical in my approach. I don't have the screenshots, but basically, I was I'd made the statement that it felt as though Matt Corral's progress was hindered by the lack of focus in training camp and in the preseason, with giving him real true reps with quality teammates. And somebody wanted to argue that we weren't making that same argument for Will Grier. And then he said, go ahead and show me. And I said, I was saying Will Grier got better reps than Matt Corral did in his rookie camp. And he said, show me the proof of that. Go ahead. I'll wait. So here's my ice up. If you're somebody who wants to throw out the go ahead, I'll wait in an effort to try to make somebody look like they're dumb, do a quick Google search, because I literally found it in 0.2 seconds and was able to screen share the result and the article that showed Will Grier got, and on July 25th of 2018, when he was drafted, so early in training camp, he got second team reps in front of Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke. Now, there was a battle for the backup,
but he was in the middle of that battle. He wasn't listed as the third string the entire time. He got an opportunity. And so if you want to be somebody who wants to throw out those demeaning and very, very clearly in an attempt to try to make yourself look like you're the winner of that argument, just do a quick Google search before you do that.
Have you ever heard ISAP? Have you ever heard of the website? Let me Google that for you. Just go. It's like it's called LMGTFY. Let me Google that for you.com. It's awesome. And what it does is like you go to it and then it pulls up this screen and you type in whatever your Google search is and it gives you this link and you can send it to somebody. And when you sit and they click the link, it just pulls up Google and it shows somebody typing in whatever that was. So it's like as teachers, we don't send this we can't send it to students, that would be just like, we get in trouble. But like people are right, like they'll send you an email and they'll send this and it's like literally like the easiest. So, and it's called Let Me Google That For You.com. And it is the best. Let Me Google That For You.com. My ISAP pick goes to, and this one, I feel like I don't have a good one. I feel like I'm letting Dan down. He said, "Did you die or not?" I'm waiting for Tony's "Did you die or not?" Pick tonight because I do. I get a chuckle out of those almost dying ones, and that's messed up. But this one goes out to this guy. This guy, and I mean, I'm assuming it's his son. They had a Browns preseason game, and they hold up these signs. They brought these signs, and I like bringing signs to games. I'll make a sign. I love creativity. One of the best ones I got on we kind of almost got on the Jumbotron. Everybody else that was with my party, except for me, actually wearing the fucking Superman cape, didn't get on the Jumbotron. But we have one which was, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's super cam, and stuff like, like those types of things. Like I love those things, and you got to put the logo. This one, first of all, you ain't going to get on TV with this one, right? Because you got a profanity in it. You got to put the affiliate in it too. You want to get on the television, it's got to have like Fox or CBS in it somewhere. But this guy, the sign, you're at this Browns preseason game, and him and this like 7-year-old kid beside him, and right these signs, and it's "Fuck them hoes, free Watson."
Wow. And
when I'm not ISAP, first of all, I will say "fuck them hoes" in a second. I've said that shit plenty of times in my life, so I'm not like icing up like vulgarity but one is and I've cursed in front of my kids plenty. So I don't want to just like act like high and mighty at this, but this is like teaching that to this child. But really what this is teaching more than anything, and what I think is what I'm icing up, is that this dad is part of this culture of look at me. He's the dude who eats the Tide Pod. It's like, I want to be viral. So let me eat this and die just so I can get somebody to pay attention. So fuck you stupid asshole. That's what I'm going to say. Ice up, ho. That's it. Somebody said mom, probably. That sons, quit talking about your mom like that. All right. Cody, we got to do it because look, we made fun of Trump for a long time. People be like, "Oh, we don't like politics," but the Joe Biden,
we make fun of stupid politics. That's what it is.
At this point, if you have seen us ice up any politician, it's never for politics. Like no matter where you fall on the line, we make fun of everyone when they need to be made fun of. I was gonna make this my ice up a few weeks ago. It's kind of old now.
I know. It's been a while. I mean, I was late to the party on this one. I saw it like last week, maybe.
I saw it last week, too. I was like, what in the world did he just say?
I know. It's like, how did this not be bigger?
Almost like they control social media, huh? It's
so
crazy.
he was. Joe Biden was talking about crime and things of that nature on Vice, and this is what ended up happening.
They even censored it right now. It won't play.
Oh, it won't even play. What the hell? Hold on. Let me refresh.
I mean, this shit is crazy.
I mean, y'all know I'm a conspiracy.
It almost makes like him shaking nobody's hand look not
walking away. Yeah. The Easter Bunny thing was the thing that got me the most. I think I'll always remember the Easter Bunny thing. You know,
it is the handshake to nobody. I'm with Dan. This shit was funny. The other one was when he just like walked randomly into the garden and
just away.
That guy over there. You know what? I made fun of George Bush. I used to, in graduate school, I used to watch George Bush, but like YouTube had just gotten invented, and I would watch like George Bush blender clips just when I had a bad day, like because they just made me feel good. I would take George Bush back in a moment compared to having
of dealing with a felony that's committed, and I don't count drunken driving as a felony.
We play it. We didn't hear the beginning.
Yeah, but what's
you only arrest for the purpose of dealing with a felony that's committed, and I don't count drunken driving as a felony.
They're like, they don't even know. They don't even know.
I think Uncle Joe had a DUI back in the day.
But he literally said, I don't view DUI as a felony.
I know, because he's...
So either he meant that, or this man has a hard time knowing where he's at all the time. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think that's the two. Both can be true, just like Matt Corral could be a bust and Matt Rules.
Hey, no, truth sets us free. So this is correct. We shouldn't make fun of the mentally challenged. So let's
in
not.
In the immortal words of George Bush, fish and humans can coexist. Yes, we can. Yes, we can, George. Or the best George Bush one was when he was at the OBGYN convention. He said, and all y'all female doctors out there spreading your love.
They have people that write for them, don't they? I mean, like, I want to be one of those people. This job seems easy.
Good, man. He meant good, dude. He meant good. He just didn't. He's like me. Like, we mix our words up sometimes. Like, I mean, we ain't trying to be idiots, but like, fool me once.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Fool me. A fool man can't get fooled again.
You think there will ever be another day where our president just isn't an embarrassment, regardless of whether they're Republican or Democrat? Are we ever going to get a guy that isn't?
It depends on your definition of embarrassment. If by embarrassment you mean funny memes on social media and says stupid stuff, yes. But if by embarrassment you mean drives the country into the ground, it's two different things. So it kind of depends on your definition of embarrassment there, because there are a lot of things I don't agree with, but end results don't lie. So
yeah, I mean they're all two sides of the same coin,
right?
But what do I know, dude? I think that's it. We're done, right?
Man, incredible, dude. Just want to do this. Shout out to all the people that gave us their time tonight. We had
over 20 new members.
We got 22 members tonight.
That's incredible.
Fantastic.
We love y'all, man.
We had over 250 people watching. We got lots of people in the chat. It's an incredible ride, and it's only going to get better as we actually get football to talk about. So thank you for your support. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow me on Twitter at @cat_chronicles. You can email me at carolinacatchronicles@gmail.com. Find the podcast, leave a review, tell a friend, share a friend, whatever the Pat McAfee saying is, right? Be a friend, tell a friend, that type of thing. That's how we grow, man. One person at a time, one sub at a time. Thank you very much. And look, thank you to my brothers on this show. Appreciate it. Cody Lack, how can I get after you?
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Cody Lack, CODY LAC. You know, I'll be shouting about something. Probably fighting with people that are mad at me for saying how bad of a coach Matt Rule is or something crazy. But hit me up on Twitter. Follow me. I'm still the Panthers analyst at drafttech.com. That's every month. You can check that out. And guys, I'm telling you, man, me, Tony, CK, Greg, we're working on some cool shit, y'all. We are going to take this show to the next level, and we're going to continue to do it with you guys providing the boost, providing the gasoline, the energy for us to do what we do. You know we love you guys. Appreciate you.
All right, Greg, how can I get after you?
You can check me out at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter is my personal handle. I've also got another podcast. It is Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse. We go live 9 p.m. every Friday, sometimes Saturdays, depending on life, on YouTube. And then you can find any audio catcher or any podcast catcher you choose. We're on all of them. Right now, we're talking about She-Hulk, House of the Dragon, and the last half of Sandman. And then Sunday, all me and my co-hosts are getting together because I'm fortunate enough to be in the vicinity of them. And we are going to watch Rogue One in preparation for Andor. So we may do a live show together in the same studio for the first time ever this Sunday. A review of Rogue One. And then Andor's coming up soon. But we cover everything. And Tony, Spartacus, let's do it. I'm down.
I'm ready. CK?
You can find me on the Twitters, on the TikTok, the Facebook gaming, things like that, at Codizzle Allen. And obviously here on the show, we got some big stuff, as Cody alluded to. Potentially some new sponsors to talk about come September. So be on the lookout for that. And guys, your support's going to be helpful with those sponsors. Just, if they're once we get them up here, we'll talk more about it. But they're good products, and they're things that we really are going to be able to stand behind and believe in. So,
fantastic stuff. All right, Cody, take us out of here, my buddy.
C3 Panther Nation. Until next time, keep pounding.